Welcome, strangers and friends alike, to this special 5-year celebration of the SML podcast. While discussing the merits of the 5th anniversary of this fantastic cast of pods, I'm going to move over and list off many of the shows that started on television and then died after only a single season during the previous 5 years. Okay, let's... Move it. Just out of my... Move it! Son of a... Just... No, I don't... Oh, you will take my... Oh. Ooh. Okay. Here we go. Friends, better love. We are men. Bad teacher. Dracula. For those of you who do not know, the traditional gift of the 5th anniversary is that of the gift of wood. Lucky 7. In order to sufficiently honor the achievement that this anniversary brings, I spent several minutes carving and shaping a gift out of wood in the back of my workshop just for Joe Cam. It was supposed to be a Horodric cube, with which he could transubstantiate items for use in his incessant need to take over the podcasting world. In the end, however, my efforts were found to be lacking, and the best that I could come up with was a rough, splintery dildo. Use it with pride. I hope you have Neosporin. Oh hey! It looks like Grant Henry took a few minutes away from destroying bands to join this motley crew of mottled few. Have fun, you guys. Chicago Justice. Oh, Chicago Justice. Conviction. I miss you so. Doubt. And Doubt. I never watched Doubt. Fuck Doubt. Anyway, congratulations, Joe. You have accomplished much and mightily that so few could ever have thought to dream of. Don't suck. And never ever forget the importance of the sphincter.
My brain still hasn't comprehended what people want out of Twitch. Like, I typically want to play the games, not watch someone else play the games. But this whole community of people that enjoy watching people play games, it's cool, but it doesn't click. So I don't know what they want out of watching someone else play a thing.
You should be a titty streamer.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just squeeze them together. People can't resist.
Like teddy bears?
Oh, just like check out these mandibles.
No, titty, not teddy.
Teddy?
A
teddy
good
bears?
brawl
Yes,
does
teddy-
a lot
teddy
for your
streamer.
follow count.
I can only fill out about an A cup, so I got a ways to go.
That's what they make them chicken cutlets for. Somehow I feel like y'all don't know what chicken cutlets are.
The little, like, the padded things, yeah.
They're like little silicone. They look like a
They
chicken
look like
cutlet.
chickens, yeah. As soon as
And
you,
you put
it
it
took a
in-
minute for it to click for me.
And it immediately,
my first
it
thought
lifts
was
and
actual
pulls out a
chicken.
bra.
Actual
Just laughing at chicken cutlets is what people refer to.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they're called.
But it makes
It's so
sense.
funny.
I get it.
I was already hungry, and then I got even hungrier. And then you're talking about You're talking about bra stuffing devices, and now I'm like, okay, now I don't know what's going on.
No, if everyone's getting hungry,
Regress, but I don't have a lot of money for the process. What do you got from me? You got these chicken cutlets, fresh out of your grocer's freezer. You better work with them fast before they thaw, because once that happens, they don't quite settle in like they should, and then you'll have some problems. So,
You know, I bet if you took one of those and you tenderized it and you breaded it and fried that motherfucker, I bet it might be all right.
It might be similar to chicken.
sensual
I mean,
and
that's the
delectable.
basis that they pretty much say that everything tastes like, right?
tastes
it's
like chicken.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Both taste
So,
like chicken.
so maybe it'll just taste like chicken.
I'm just laughing at this delectable and sensual meat product.
You'll never look at a chicken cutlet the same way ever again.
Oh, God.
Or maybe I'll look at them like I always. You never know.
Google a chicken cutlet and like add in the bonus word of broth stuffing.
Like I want to try segueing. I want to try segueing directly into an intro so I could keep all of this discussion.
I was just about to say, I love that we haven't started yet.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we did.
So with that, we're starting.
So yeah, this is a throwback episode. We're just fucking around. So what's up, everyone? This is the SML podcast. I am your host, Joe. Episode number 350, which also marks our 5th anniversary episode. And I'm sure you could already tell by all the voices you've already just heard, but we have a hell of a bunch of friends just chilling today. A hell of a lot of you.
Cutlets.
Yeah, chicken cutlets. It's a food happy episode. I'm eating my dinner right now. So Kris, Crunchcast.
I saw that.
Crunchcast. But joining, I guess as per usual, Cole Martin. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm here.
Yeah. It's about to get a little wild.
The person you replaced is here, CJ Greenwood. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Fuck
great.
CJ.
I'm making a lot of progress in life.
Miss CJ's like quieter than everyone. CJ's just like, I don't want to do that.
No, I think it's just my mic.
Also here, Kris Huber. How are you doing, man?
I just got to see Big Wreck live, and it wasn't for 20 minutes at a festival, so I'm doing wonderful.
Are you still erect?
Slightly. I have a minor chode.
Frequent guest and reviewer Pernell Vaughan. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just drinking a delicious vitamin water zero and still contemplating these chicken cutlet debobs. I haven't even eaten dinner yet, so now I'm hungry and aroused. I got nothing.
This sounds like a good night, though.
That's a good combo when both of those things can then be taken care of.
Just make some mac and cheese.
Oh, God.
Why mac and cheese? Why mac and cheese? You gotta finish that thought.
Maybe he's insinuating that there's something that you can do to the mac and cheese once you're done, and you have leftovers.
Look, it's either salty mac and cheese or no mac and cheese.
Are you telling him to fuck macaroni?
Listen, I didn't say it, but you can read into that however you like.
And it's disgusting.
And speaking of fucking macaroni, Stemage, Grant Henry, you're here. How are you doing, buddy?
I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm kind of hungry. I'm definitely not erect.
Yet.
It's good to be here. Trying to figure out what I
need counseling.
Trying to figure out what we were all doing 5 years ago today, right?
5 years ago today.
5 years.
What were you guys doing 5 years ago today?
It's the first of Feb. It's February. Is it February yet? Officially, February.
February. Yes,
So
February 1st.
I was probably saying, is it February today? 5 years ago.
Part of me wants to say probably at like a MagFest or something, because that could have been the year it was like in February or some junk.
Oh, no, because 5 years ago we started the show, and if we started the show, I wouldn't have been a MagFest.
Ah, touche.
Yeah.
Unless you start at MagFest.
Post
You don't know.
party.
I was still Tim's couch gnome.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Yeah.
I'm sad I didn't hear back from Tim. I just to put it out there, I did throw out invites to all of the past hosts, Bogue, Tim, and yes, Pappy included. You guys are the only ones dumb enough to show up, so what's going on?
Well,
we're all more modern.
Tim and I played some games earlier before he had to go and do some like editing stuff, and I guess like he's like, if I'm probably gonna end up getting caught up in that, but if he has the time to step away from it and I'm still in the call, he's gonna let me know. But I wouldn't hold your breath.
Yeah, no, it's Tim.
But
Too late.
at least he's aware of it. He knows that it's happening. We'll see if he can set some time aside.
Tim sends his love.
He does.
Just not the Joe.
He said he wants to play some Sea of Thieves when that happens. Which, like, are we gonna like?
People already are.
We gonna like cover? We gonna like cover a couple like news things too, or just like bullshitting the whole time?
I got a nice chunk of news we could tackle. I figure we would just do some bullshitting first, unless you guys just want to talk news.
I would love to talk news because that was really like that was what we were all about when we started.
Well,
it was nothing but.
Chris, since you want to talk news, what news do you want to discuss? We'll start with you.
Well, there's a couple things that have been coming up that I'm interested in. So one was obviously like the new announcement with the Xbox Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we covered that last week, where all first-party exclusives from Microsoft are going to be in Game Pass at launch, which is really cool. At launch.
And there was another caveat to that I didn't understand until like I started digging deeper into it, and that if the games are play anywhere, then it counts on PC too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so basically, if you have the Games Pass, you have the games with Windows Pass too, essentially. Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many games in Game Pass are play anywhere, but you know, when Sea of Thieves comes out, there's one. When Crackdown comes out, there's one.
So the main reason why I wanted to bring that up is because since Sea of Thieves is going to be like day one launch, you know, it's going to be available. There's a ton of retailers that are like third party, like not as big as GameStop, but I mean they're kind of pissed too. But like this whole games as a service, but also including your new releases, like I honestly feel like with the lack of exclusives that Microsoft has really had recently, like they could go the route of Netflix when they first started, because they didn't really have any independent stuff that they were throwing out. Mm-hmm. But then as they started to bring in all the revenue from having the service, they were able to like bring in a bunch of companies. And I guess there was news that they were looking to potentially like buy out someone like EA.
Yeah, that leads into my top news story that I have on mine, is that recent rumors have been going around. Microsoft is looking to bolster its first-party development teams and looking to acquire some studios. You mentioned that one of the rumored companies, I don't know how likely it is EA. That's a name being tossed around. I think one of the more likely names being tossed around is PUBG Corporation.
Yeah, I could see that too. But the thing that kind of upsets me about that is just like they're kind of a one-trick pony right now, and I'd like to see them pull someone that can already have like a few established.
Hey, so's Mojang.
Well,
yeah, but I don't think that worked out too well either, though. Did it with Mojang?
Not really.
With Minecraft? I mean, they're shitting money with Minecraft.
Yeah, it's not exactly going poorly. It's just
like it was just only Minecraft, though. Like I agree, it's definitely making money.
Oh, they're making bank on that property. It's on every platform.
Oh, that's a good point. If anybody sells it, that's still technically their money.
Yeah. So if you buy the Switch version, Microsoft's getting paid. If you buy the 3DS version, Microsoft's getting paid. If you buy the PS4 version, Microsoft's getting paid.
If you buy Dust Off Heli Rescue, maybe, I don't know. But the only thing that I'm also concerned about with that, though, too, is are they going to try and develop this too quickly and then end up putting out a bunch of subpar stuff?
Like putting the Game Pass thing together?
Well, yeah. Like, so what I mean is like, so they're announcing that the Game Pass is going to work with all the first party titles, and that's all going to be a thing. Don't you think it would kind of make, like, it would need to be established for maybe like another year before they started going out to acquire another big company to start producing stuff for, or do you think the timeline's right?
Well, with that company, aren't they pretty much crapping money still as it is? So even if it did work out to be seem like a little sudden, they have the resources available to just, if they need to hire other people to manage the process of things getting created, they have the money for that. They're not going to be hurting it. I mean,
it's the stuff of like the Fable, like what is it, Fable
Legends?
Fable Legends completely died.
Scalebound.
Yep, like they were putting money into these projects, and it just ultimately didn't end up going anywhere. So like, are they going to end up doing a similar thing with just getting companies that are like establishing in just specific games, something like a Minecraft,
like
or
a Cuphead
type of thing,
like
right?
Cuphead,
Or
Cuphead worked.
Yeah, but like I think I want to see them go slightly bigger if they're going to do it. Like, just so that they can have like someone like EA, maybe they can actually turn them around and make it so that they're not like fucking up all these great IPs that they have. Because let's be honest, like, you can't tell me that like a Microsoft headed Sims game would actually rule. Like, that would be amazing.
Maybe.
I would like to see it. I mean, I can't guarantee it per se, but I'd have faith in there being a decent potential for a quality product. They went through it.
I mean, I think Sims, the biggest problem with Sims is that if they're going to do that and they're going to dedicate more time to making Sims work on Xbox, they need to incorporate the keyboard support quicker than they already are.
Well, I mean, that's right around the bend, isn't it? Didn't they say that?
Well, that's been around the bend for years.
And technically, the Xbox supports mouse and keyboard. It comes down to the game and the developer. Because Minecraft uses mouse and keyboard.
There you go. So it just needs to be enabled for it.
And then a few weeks ago, we covered a game called Raining Blobs, like a Puyo-style puzzle game. That fucking supports keyboard of all things.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know,
That's
it's
cool.
so weird. See,
I've heard of a couple other games too that like people have plugged in a keyboard, but now for the life of me, I don't remember what they were. They weren't anything like life altering. It wasn't a shooter or anything, but they were like, "Oh, look, keyboard works." But it's not a far fetched thing. It's the capabilities there.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind seeing The Sims get keyboard support, puzzle games, whatever. But when they start bringing mouse and keyboard support to shooters, that's when I think they have to stop.
I'm so ready for that. I don't even care.
That would be, I won't lie.
Honestly, yeah. Because then I'd be able to play with my friends, but then not compromise how I've gotten comfortable playing those games.
Then you would be able to play with people who are playing with controllers, so you could just steamroll everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It would.
I know a lot of people that are good on controllers enough to combat people with a mouse and keyboard.
I don't think it's anywhere that close.
Yeah, no. And the best players on PC are going to destroy the best players on console just because console... you have like the complete perfection aim with the mouse that you can't get with the console.
But you got to remember, you're discussing it in forms of like best versus the best. But if you're talking about it from just a perspective of, hey, me and some guys are going to play some Quake 12, whatever the fuck number is, and I don't even know. So it's kind of a nice simply be able to say, look, we can all get on this system and choose whatever control style we want to use and ultimately have fun.
Yeah,
but that was still comparing like the best to the best. Like that's gonna work with anybody that's like the most moderate to the most moderate.
Well, I mean, think of it like
the way that I look at it is, especially when you're looking at it at a game with like ranked stuff, with like, let's just say Overwatch, for example, right? Okay. So when you're looking at the entire ranking system of like bronze to fucking super double platinum diamond, whatever. You've got all these things in between. I think naturally the keyboard and mouse players that are the best of the best would just rise up slightly higher than the ones that were the best of the best with a controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would still get separated like equally to the ability of the player, not necessarily the control scheme.
I mean, I can see it working in co-op, but I don't think that they should ever be combined in competitive multiplayer.
Agree.
And here's the thing, though. There's nothing stopping them from even tracking that way. Because I'm pretty sure they could determine what control scheme you used when you booted up or when you started playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And maybe they could have different lobbies for
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they should totally allow everyone to play together, but just have anything in terms of ranking or separate lobbies for the control types. I think makes sense. I mean, I think like didn't they even have in Mario Kart for Wii the ability to only race with people using the wheel?
Did they?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think they might have. Yeah,
pretty sure. So that kind of thing. But man, I think it'd be just throw them in a pit, let them fight the controller versus the mice and keyboard. Like just figure it out. Like we know who's going to come on top. We won't say who it's going to be, but just have fun. Figure it out.
Grant, you like to come on top?
Has that though.
Well, Rocket League, I feel, is almost the opposite. That controller is much easier than keyboard and mouse in that game.
Yeah.
Chris?
I agree.
I feel
100%.
like I feel like keyboard and mouse people tend to usually do better in Rocket League.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never
that's
seen
fine.
that before.
No,
most
I'm
of
not
the
gonna
most of the
deny the
pros are
possibility.
using controllers. There's
Like,
only
I'm
a couple.
not gonna deny the
There's only a couple.
possibility, But like,
Yeah.
if you were to say, what is it about keyboard and mouse that can make a FPS player better? Any of us in this chat could easily tell you why. But if you were to say, what is it about Rocket League that can make a keyboard and mouse better? I'm not seeing a major change that would give a keyboard player an advantage.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
if
I
anything,
honestly
the
feel
ability
like
to
a
control your car while in the air.
Well, that's,
So you would bet,
Chris, you do that with controller though, don't you?
It can be done with controller, but
It's just
typically PC is a little better for the control aspect.
Yeah, but you don't have
If
the,
listen
like,
to the
you can't
people in
have
the
any
Rocket
throttle
chat
control.
who are yelling at you and calling you a controller noob.
Well, the problem with like
But,
that
like-
or any racing game or anything like that is that there's no such thing as throttle control on a mouse and keyboard. It's
There-
just push
very
the button
true.
or don't.
No, that's one of the primary reasons why like every single pro that I watched for like RLCS, they're all using controllers. I've only seen like one or two guys use mouse or keyboard, and most of the
Anyway, I
time it's
brought all
because they're
that up
trolling
for
somebody.
I'm still trying to get to the original point here. So the whole point, the whole reason I mentioned Rocket League at all is because you guys were talking about, switching the game to where you would only be able to search for people using a controller or whatever. Rocket
Right.
League kind of does that in that you can go in and say, I'm on console and I don't want to play with PC players because they're going to fuck my world. You can do that. Or
Well,
vice
yeah,
versa.
that's
get
just a
those
separation
PC
of
scrubs out of here.
That's just
Yeah,
a
but I mean,
separation
because of the whole, because it doesn't allow for keyboard support on the Xbox currently, it's like one way that they kind of segregate that if that's problematic for you.
It's racist.
Well, that's mostly just for like the systems themselves, though. Like that Sony wants to play with Sony, and the Nintendo ones want to play with the Nintendo ones. Like it's mostly the cross compatibility issues more so. Yes.
Well, the cross compatibility issue is only there with PlayStation. Like Nintendo and Xbox can play together. There's no issue there.
See, these are things.
But there
I
is an
forgot or
option to
didn't
turn that
know.
off in Rocket League, is what I'm saying.
There is?
Yeah, you can turn crossplay off, but I think the only reason to actually do that would be just so that you can find other Xbox people to play with. Maybe. I mean, there's
Well,
no
the
real
ranking-
point.
It just seems so
I
petty,
will-
though.
I will say 100% that the players on each system play differently, because you have to remember they've gotten the game at different points of the console's life cycle. So like
Very
most
true.
of the time when I'm playing, like if I queue up with anybody from who I think is from the Switch or Xbox versions, they're normally like a slightly lower learning curve than say the PlayStation or the PC.
Yeah,
in
because
my
it
opinion.
launched on those two systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I find funny though is, which is never a good thing for a chick to say that, because if she says that she's not finding it funny. But, but realistically, what's funny is like it's noticeable, obviously, if you're on Xbox, or at least it was up until like we got custom gamer picks that kind of helped level the playing field a little. But you could tell there for a long time the difference between, that's a PC player and that's an Xbox player. And as an Xbox player, you can guarantee if you got a goal within like the first 30 seconds, the other team's going to quit every time. If they were
Oh
on
yeah,
one.
they throw up the
Every
forfeits way too
fucking
fast.
Just
Way
Oh,
too
that's
fast.
it.
You can
You're
still
done.
totally tell who's on who, though. On Xbox, you can tell if they're on PC because they just have the
Yeah.
Rocket
The
League
sign
picture.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sign it.
This guy going, well, these guys are too good. They got a point. I quit.
Oh yeah, Joe, I made it up.
Insane.
I didn't get to tell you. I made it up to Diamond 2 Division 4 now.
Damn.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that's
I
why
remember-
you beat me at MagFest.
Yep.
Are you
I gotta
playing
say, I
on?
find it amazing that this game even got as big as it did. I remember back when like a friend of mine was going nuts about this game called it was like super powered rocket racing
Cars. Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, on
I'm like,
PS3.
This is awesome. I wish more people recognize this is a fun game. And then Rocket League comes out, and at least initially, I didn't notice a lot of people talking about it then either. Like it was just kind of like an afterthought. And then one day, mysteriously, it became something more.
It was
What,
really
Rocket-
when they
I-
started doing like the tournament support and everything like that. Like,
I don't know. I think when Rocket League launched on PlayStation, because it was part of PlayStation Plus, it fucking exploded.
Yeah, no, I think that was I heard about it immediately because it's just like everybody was immediately like, this is such a great game and a great concept. Most people don't even know that game before it existed still.
Yeah. But you guys mentioned Nintendo and Microsoft. That's actually leads to another bit of news this week. Something kind of surprising. Moana characters came out for Minecraft this week, which,
really?
big deal.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah.
But when that news bit came out, it was also announced that the Skin Pack 1 would debut on all the current versions of Minecraft, like Xbox One, mobile, Windows 10. The Skin Pack 1 is also going to be launching on the Wii U and Switch. And the interesting thing there is that Skin Pack 1 includes, basic stuff like deep sea diver, racing suits.
Isn't Master Chief in that?
Master Chief is in there, Banjo-Kazooie, Fable, Gears of War. So officially, Master Chief is on the Switch.
That's kind of neat.
I was honestly livid because when I first heard about it, someone was like, "Oh my God, Banjo-Kazooie's back!" I was like, "Really? Oh my God!" I was like, "You piece of shit."
Yeah, it's just a Minecraft skin.
You know what you did to me? I was ready to hop and bop, get some jiggies. Nothing.
Isn't that a trip, though? The Gears of War, Fable, Master Chief, they're all on Nintendo platforms through Minecraft now.
Well, I mean, that's the only way a lot of those will ever show up, I think. I mean, especially like Gears of War. I don't think
even the fact that it's happening at all is so trippy to me.
I mean, it might be a case if it simply has to in order for it to be cross-platform, like it has to be on both.
I also just think of it as like it's a teaser, really. I mean, if someone's playing on a Switch and they see this green soldier man, like, what the hell is this? And he started playing. I was like, I like this character. I wonder what he's from or something. Like, oh, it's from an Xbox game called Halo. I can't imagine too many people not knowing what Halo is at this point, but still, just an example. Like, it's from a game called Halo on the Xbox.
How's that spelled?
H-E-L. Wait, no, wrong.
Ola. It's Ola. Ola 4.
Let's play Ola.
Ola 4.
Was it something awful on one of their Photoshop Fridays years ago? Someone just took the original Halo game, put a sombrero on Master Chief, and flipped the O and the A to Ola.
Oh, that's classic meme.
It was incredible. So good.
So if you're playing Minecraft on the Switch, do you have to log into your Microsoft account?
I believe so, yes.
That to me is even freakier.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like Gears of War is really strange, but just logging into a Microsoft portal on your Switch is just really weird.
Wait a minute. So if you log into your Microsoft account, does that mean that technically you could unlock achievements on your Microsoft accounts for the better together version?
They're linked.
I think that is right.
So you could technically earn gamer score on the Nintendo Switch now.
Yep.
Except they don't have achievements on the Switch version.
No, but they do. If you sign into your Microsoft account, there is a better together version that has a separate achievement list. So could you potentially unlock achievements through your Microsoft account that would be attached to Xbox?
But doesn't each platform of the Better Together still have its own separate achievement list, I thought?
Yeah, but there's one baked in, too.
What
is that?
I don't know what the hell that is.
Who's banging?
Joe's banging his head on the microphone.
Apparently.
Wasn't me. I don't know what the hell that was. It's Mel. Grant, it's Mel. He's still haunting us.
Oh, God. It's awful. Get the hell out of here, Mel.
Damn it, Mel.
Leave.
Oh, God. So going back a little bit to the whole Microsoft looking to invest in studios, one of the other rumored companies, in addition to EA, was Valve. What do you guys think of that?
That's just
not
bullshit.
happening.
That's such bullshit. There's no way. Like, it's impossible.
Rumor mill incarnate.
I mean, like, there's absolutely no way that's possible. Unless it was the games division of Valve, maybe. But even then, like, oh my God, it's its own monster. It supports Mac. Like, it's like, it's just not. Oh, but then again, whatever. We're logging into Microsoft accounts on Switch, so who knows?
See, I can totally see. I could totally see Microsoft looking to purchase Valve's IP. I don't think they would want to. Well, I guess possibly they might want to get Steam because they have the Windows 10 store, and if they could unify that would be crazy.
But then the question becomes, is that something you think that Valve themselves would even want to relinquish? Like, how much money would Microsoft have to step into their office to pay them to say,
I mean,
Walk away from your
Probably
Steam.
Microsoft loads of money.
Yeah. I mean, they have
You know what I mean?
billions and billions available.
If anybody was going to attempt to try and do it, I would assume that they could.
Okay, well, here's a question. What company would you like to see Microsoft try to invest in?
Honestly, I would love for them to do EA and pull them out of the shitter. For real.
I mean, when you say that, you mean like business shitter or games quality
game
decision making? Really? So you really think that outside of weird money making things, do you think just EA games are crap? Like, do you don't think
they have a lot lot of issues?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Issues. And it's just the way that they also support, or lack of support them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I think that their business practices, could also, it could fall under that category too, but it's mostly that the games need to be, combed through, a little bit finer. Because almost every single one ends up getting released with some major major patch that has to happen. Same thing with Ubisoft. Actually, I would love for them to take over Ubisoft. That'd be fucking sick.
You mean if Vivendi doesn't do their hostile takeover first?
Basically.
Oh, terrifying.
What about the rest of you? What companies do you think would be good?
What about Cuphead happened because of Microsoft, kind of like Street Fighter V happened because of Sony. What if they just went? Yeah, they did. What if they just went? Totally. What if it just went that way? What if they just invested in a ton of these, I don't want to call them B tier, but I don't want to say indie either. But a lot of, if they were to sort of fund games in process to keep them on the platform and make them a part of their Games Pass, Cuphead worked, and I don't think if it was for Microsoft, they would have finished that game because it took so long. I don't think they would have either. So they could buy a big company. Or they could kind of go and get slurp up a whole bunch. Yeah, piecemeal it. Go up and slurp up a bunch of really, really, really good indie properties. Because Cuphead sold 2.5 million units or something.
Crazy,
really
and
good.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't think of a big boy that I think Microsoft needs to come in. I thought they should have saved THQ before it was too late. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
that
they could always buy THQ Nordic, but I don't know.
That's true.
Really...
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I think Ubi would be my favorite pick, because even just they have a lot of games that they have so much potential, but they're riddled with problems.
The only reason I don't like Ubisoft is they are the only third party period that continues to support Nintendo, and I'm right in the middle of that Mario Rabbids game right now. It's actually pretty awesome.
That game,
I heard it's really good.
So I'd hate to lose that. I hate to lose that support on Nintendo, but
yeah, but just because I think they would still. I think they'd be open to doing that kind of stuff. Don't you think?
There were a lot of people who were spitballing that if Microsoft were to buy EA, which titles would they want to have exclusive on Xbox, and what titles would they still sell on other platforms? Obviously, the sports titles. I'm sure we would see them on everything. Stuff like Battlefield or Battlefront, we would probably see on everything. I think,
but what about that, A Way Out?
I think indie titles like that we would see only on Xbox if it were to happen.
Which I'm okay with.
Part of me...
no, I could see Microsoft pulling a power play where they're like, look here, if you want your Madden fix, you know what
I don't think they do the dirty. Sports.
No, people
the most they would pull with Battlefront, they wouldn't do the sports, because that would just piss people off.
I could honestly see Microsoft being like, you know what? Mass Effect is ours. Dragon Age is ours.
Yes, exactly.
Shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it would be nice to get some first, single-player exclusives.
True.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that they're actually trying to do, because, didn't he say in an interview, that's actually one of the main reasons why they're trying to push the Game Pass is kind of similar to, again, how Netflix kind of had their original series, they started getting those off the ground. They want to kind of use the Game Pass as the perfect excuse to have those single player experiences, because it doesn't make sense to sell them as full blown titles.
I mean, how many times do games release and then a month later they're half off on sale? Because
exactly,
they don't sell what they used to anymore. Short single player games have a limited shelf life, and something like Game Pass where you get all of these games for a smaller price.
It's the perfect marriage of it. Perfect.
You play it, you move on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Microsoft would rather have your $10 every month then maybe get a full price game sale or two a year.
Every couple of months,
Yeah.
maybe.
They would rather have that consistent stream of income.
Because you gotta remember, like, okay, maybe you have a Game Pass and you're only paying for the game for that much, but like you're probably gonna pay for DLC every once in a while for those games
and gold.
So it's like right. So it makes more sense for them to get more money per consumer without them feeling like they're getting ripped off.
Yeah.
How much is it?
$10 a
right now?
month.
It's $10.
It's 10?
$10 a month.
Dude.
Damn.
That's it.
Exactly.
I was upset to see none of the Forza stuff's on there. I borrowed an Xbox.
The newer
again
ones are
to play
coming out
Horizon.
for it.
When?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Horizon 4 launches this fall, it's not announced, but we know it's happening. When Horizon 4 launches this fall, it'll be right to Game Pass.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't wait for Horizon 4.
I mean the other ones though, like Horizon, like 3 and Forza 7 are not on there.
Yeah, those
Not
haven't
yet.
been.
I think they'll show up eventually though.
Probably.
I think so too.
I would like that very much.
Dude, look at how old Horizon 3 is now.
Yeah, it's a year and a couple months now, and it's still
I
one
thought
of
it was
the
almost
best
2
games
now.
out there.
It's awesome. I need to start playing that again.
I need to
You know
get
what?
it.
It's good. It's really
The
good.
Hot Wheels DLC is on sale this week for $5.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Grant, get it
Bought
this
a
week.
while ago.
Do it.
Oh god,
Do it,
I might have to do that.
Do
You know
it.
It's
what would
good,
actually
dude.
be a great
It's
power play
awesome. It's fucking awesome.
Well, I borrowed an Xbox to get it and just haven't done it because I was super excited about Need for Speed Payback, and that ended up being a complete garbage fire. So I borrowed a Horizon 3 because I need a car fix. And I just haven't picked it up yet. So.
Dude, I will fucking play with you. Tell me when I will jump on and I will just free
Dude, I would
roam
play
with you
too.
for hours.
Sweet.
I fucking
Actually,
love
Joe,
Horizon.
we should do that tonight.
Fuck it, let's end the show right now. Music this episode.
Happy 5-year anniversary now.
Cole, CJ, Pernell, what companies would you like to see Microsoft try to invest in and take over possibly?
Now, I think there's two great options. 2K would be a good option for grabbing the new Borderlands when that comes out. Any new Mafias, another
That would
home
be
front.
sick.
But the other one that would be a good money play is to get Fortnite. Well, because it's massive right now. So get Epic Games.
That would
that
be
game
interesting.
Has blown the fuck up.
Well, what else you get with Epic? You get Unreal.
Unreal
you get-
Tournament 4 when that shit finally, because that shit hasn't come to consoles yet, but that's been in beta testing forever.
Oh, you could get
yeah.
Lawbreakers? Oh, wait, no. You could get Paragon? Oh, wait, again.
Oh wait, no.
Which there's
Well, yeah,
another
but
news bit I had.
To be fair, the only reason why they're doing that shit is because they only have so much money and they have to funnel it into developing Fortnite because Fortnite's crushing it right now.
Exactly. Fortnite is massive, and they're making tons of money off of that game.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm
it's
almost sad that it is because it's gotten big for the part of the game that I didn't care about.
I'm
Well,
actually
yeah,
really
but
excited
that's
to play
because
the
it's
other
free.
version, like the other game mode.
The storm is pretty fun, but it gets old. It's not like I think the battle royale is better for actually playing with friends.
I don't know. I like
playing a
PvE
tower
stuff a
defense
lot.
game.
Yeah, I like the PvE. I like the
I
idea.
used to love what was it, Cat or Dungeon Defenders?
Dungeon Defenders.
Mhm.
Dungeon
Yeah.
Defenders was the fucking shit.
Love that game.
Dungeon Defenders
That's a
2's
part
out
of
as
why I
well.
like this game. I was like, oh boy, it's like Dungeon Defenders, but you actually are building full on structures. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you know what you really want to do? Shoot your friends like you do on all the other games you play. Like, fuck. But I'm not denying it. Fortnite Battle Royale is a fun game. I'm not talking as if it's a terrible game. Quite the contrary. It's just, that's not what I signed up for. It's not what I was there for.
Part of me
But
wonders.
Borderlands would definitely be my choice.
Borderlands would be incredible.
That
Dude, people would riot to not be able to play Borderlands on another console if they made it an exclusive.
If you
Yeah.
guys are talking about buying 2K and people rioting, I think people would riot a lot more if they couldn't get Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead on other platforms.
Oh my
that would be heavy.
That's why I don't think that would ever happen.
Well, they
that would be.
they could
that would be
always
ridiculous.
because Rockstar gets a lot of choice out of what they do because 2K needs Rockstar. Rockstar could definitely branch off on their own if they wanted to.
Probably.
Yes.
So I mean, I feel like they would probably stay multi-platform anyway.
Probably.
'Cause it would just be their choice to do that. Whereas Gearbox, they kind of need 2K because they, outside of Borderlands, have they really made a good game?
They made
And
a
I was
game.
about to say, even if you think about Borderlands, even when was the last time we got a Borderlands? We're still looking at the pre-sequel, which was ages ago.
No.
Yeah.
That was only a few years ago. You
it
notice
was
those
what,
games
like,
come
It was
out.
a 360
That's
game,
ages.
man. That's how old
Yeah.
it was.
It was 2014, but you think about it, how many years went between Borderlands 1 and 2 as well?
I don't know.
Like, they take a long time to build these games. And to answer your question, yes, and every single one of their other games have flopped. Aliens, Colonial Marines, Battleborn,
Oh God.
Duke
Yeah.
Nukem
That's
Forever.
what I'm
Those are
saying.
their other games.
Hey, I like
I
Duke
gotta admit,
Nukem.
Battleborn is a hard case to call with because I feel like that one failed mainly because it launched at the same time as a better game. But who's to say it couldn't have done well? 'Cause that's one of the very rare times where I feel like when people say, "Oh, I can't believe you launched the same day as that game," you just killed yourself. Like,
Well, they were what, like maybe a
2
month
weeks
before,
earlier.
or was it
Yes.
2 weeks?
It was
Before
something around-
that
Definitely was
indie unknown indie game. What was it, Chris? You know what it is? Is it like Underview?
Underview, yes.
Yeah, Underview.
The lauded Underview.
Yeah,
What?
Overwatch, you dick.
Wow.
I thought it was Side Sight. But okay.
Jesus,
What? Like, I lost that completely.
God damn it, Chris.
fuck.
So what we're saying is Duke Nukem Forever is the game of a generation? Is that what we're saying?
I like that game.
You
Anybody
like
can
it.
fight me on that. I don't give a fuck. I like that
Yeah,
game.
speaking
No,
of
but-
Duke Nukem, I have a side question for you guys. It just kind of clicked for me. So, as you probably have all heard, there is talks of a Duke Nukem movie, and I think
God.
they were talking John
Oh,
Cena playing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Casting that component aside, I came across a petition that someone started to get John St. John to play a live-action Duke Nukem.
That would be
Well,
awful.
I think it was
Yes,
actually
it
for
was.
them to try and campaign to get it done CG for him to just voice it.
That would make more sense than trying to see John St. John be
Exactly.
Duke Nukem. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Have you
I
guys
mean,
seen
First
him?
of all, he can't say
Duke
those words.
Duke
He's not
Nukem
that
is
kind of person.
Duke Nukem is like a washed up action star, and John St. John is kind of, I don't know, he's kind of not really doing much except for
Yeah, but
John
St.
Duke
John,
Nukem.
Duke Nukem is a still pretty buff, still ass-kickable, washed-up.
Ass kickable. I like
That's
it.
where the divide happens. Like, if you want to sit in the room and get drunk, there you go. Duke chug 'em. There you got that game.
I think I know who should play Duke Nukem. I just saw Shape of Water, and Michael Shannon is the bad guy in that movie. He's kind of scary. He has a very landscaped face. Feel free to look him up.
Dude,
I'm-
come on.
I'm kind of on board with the whole John Cena rumors. I think that could work really well. Because Cena has that really corny sense of humor. I think he would
Yeah.
pull it off really well.
But does he ever swear ever?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he released a fucking rap album.
He did a whole album?
Yeah.
I did not know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's actually
Yeah,
kinda
he put
funny.
out a full CD.
I did not realize that.
A buff-
Compact disc.
Yeah, go look at him in like the movie Trainwreck. He's not Mr. PG rated guy.
He actually looks just like Duke Nukem. This is kind of funny.
I know, isn't it? Like,
I think Cena
I think,
would nail it.
visually, it would make sense. I just don't want to hear him say the lines.
Yeah, you do. I mean, they're just
I
lines
don't,
from
I
other
really don't.
they're lines from other movies.
Ever. I can't believe he said that. How awesome.
I just
You
have
know?
a feeling if John Cena were to play Duke Nukem, they would put plenty of wrestling references in there and just play it up.
Also,
Probably.
it would sell because it's John Cena, and WWE would they might not advertise it, but
You
just
want some? Come get some.
you know, maybe back in the Attitude Era they would have advertised the fuck out of it, but now they would have been like, "We gotta keep away with that with the 10-foot pole, push that shit
Yeah,
away."
Yeah, but like, see, like, that's the thing that I'm kind of concerned about too. Is are they going to WWE films it up? You know?
I don't think so. And
What's
even
another
still,
example of?
if you're worried about WWE films, look at like Cena Evil.
That's true. That one was pretty brutal, and
So many movies that WWE's put out are rated R, including a lot of stuff that has their talent in it. Like, look at all of the Marine movies, except for the ones that Cena were in. Like, all the new Marine movies are rated R.
I just saw
the
I haven't
12
seen
Rounds
this.
movies.
I just looked up WWE films, and the third picture that came up is a fan poster for Contra the movie, starring The Rock and John Cena.
Oh, Jesus.
That
I
would
don't
be
even
kind of
know
cool.
how I feel about that, but
I would see
still
that.
Go see it.
I would watch the fuck out of it.
Here, I'm gonna put it in the. Can I link it things in the chat?
Oh, it's a
Maybe I-
DeviantArt.
And honestly, I'm in that position now where I feel like The Rock almost can't do any freaking wrong. I went to see Jumanji last weekend, a movie that I thought was not going to be worth shit, but enough people was like, I'm telling you, you should see it, you'll like it. And I walked out of the film with a big smile on my face for reasons that I didn't expect. Like, the movie was legitimately entertaining. It didn't feel like a cash grab.
Hey, Chris, do you think Jen saw it yet?
I have no idea. No clue.
She loves The Rock.
I heard he's all right.
Can we, Joe, were you planning on mentioning the other movie-related news today? I just have to know.
I don't know. What's the other movie related?
Oh, come on. The biggest video game movie news of the day.
That news. Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
I don't think I saw it.
Joe.
I didn't either.
Mamma
don't know.
Mia, man. Mamma Mia.
Mario movie is happening.
Oh, is that confirmed? Oh, yeah. They're
Tweeted by Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't know Nintendo tweeted out about it. I know that all the rumblings were like it was going to be done by the studio that did Minions.
Yep, it's happening. They tweeted it today. Mario movie this year with the maker of the Minions movie.
Oh shit,
that's ridiculous.
Mr. Frey knew in the chat.
Damn,
freaking Mario movie, man! It has to happen. It just has to.
Watch the living daylights out of that film, and that's not even up for debate.
Like it's just inevitable. Like it just has to happen, right?
It just has to happen.
Like I'm not because I want it even, but it just has to happen. Like
can I ask?
No, I want it to happen for my entire freaking life. I wanted a good animated Mario movie that wasn't that Search for Princess Peach Japanese film. I don't
even know what that is.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not familiar.
It is a Japanese anime movie that they did for Mario back when Mario 1 was new.
Oh wow!
I don't think I ever saw that. I don't think I even know about it.
It's on YouTube. That's how I saw it. But it's not even really a bad film as long as you acknowledge that it came out during the time of like really cheesy animation. But still, it was an animated Mario film. But when we got the one that we got, that abomination, anybody with a brain could have seen that Mario would have made more sense as an animated movie in the States during that time of our film technology levels for live action movies. Like it just made no sense. And some halfwit was like, you know what we need? This disgusting variant of a Yoshi locked up in a cell. This woman try to act like he's adorable. Like, no, this is fucking awful. But an animated Mario film is something I've wanted for a long time. It needs to happen. If they do it, I'm in. It can get like a -7 on Rotten Tomatoes. I want to see that.
I mean, clearly the best Mario adaptation has been Super Hornio Brothers, though, right?
Actually, you might be on to something.
I mean, I don't know.
Ron Jeremy as Mario is just perfect casting.
Well, that's. I'm
going to unclog your pipes.
But Pernell and Cole, we didn't hear your ideas of who Microsoft could. But we're going to get through this question.
I feel like my thought is a little bit on the weirder side, and most likely not something that would happen. But I'm the true pipe dream variant of this question. I thought
you were the pipe cleaner.
I do both.
No, that's Mario. It's Ron Jeremy.
Do the potato. But I wouldn't mind seeing them attempt to do something with Capcom or Konami, mainly because both of them are hurting for money. Maybe not Konami so much because they're arcade division, but they have a ton of properties that a lot of people would love to see get real treatment again, that they just let stagnate, like literally just sit in the dump.
Like which ones?
Well, Castlevania, which has been doing hasn't done a whole lot lately that I can think of, aside from like the TV show or the Netflix show. Mega Man only just recently came back to light. There's other freaking problems. That's how long ago they fucking did.
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe from Capcom. That would be a freaking baller of a release. I
want a Final Fight update.
Hell, well, especially now there's actually been a weird revival for 2D beat 'em ups. This would be a right time for it. Hell, Ghouls and Ghosts came to mind. Someone brought up recently. I wouldn't mind seeing them attempt to do more with that property franchise again. And there's other ones that I'm almost positive I'm just not thinking about right now because, again, they've been dormant for so fucking long.
I mean, if you want to talk about a retro company with a beat-em-up series that has gone unloved for how long, what about Sega? Streets of Rage, Rystar, Vector Man. There's so much good Sonic or Sega stuff out there that they could revive.
Maybe
I would love to see that. but as we both know, they're like, nah, Sonic is still somehow making us money. And this is me saying it as a guy who actually liked some of the recent Sonic games. I still say that. Like, it's Sonic.
Force is actually really good too.
Whoa, you
Sonic
like
Mania was awesome.
Sonic Mania was the shit. And what was it? I actually liked Generations. I liked the colors. I didn't like Lost World. And God help me, I actually was okay with Unleashed. Except the levels for the Werehog were way too goddamn long.
I loved Unleashed, but that was like one of the first games I played on Wii, so it was like a different experience completely.
Yeah, because if anything, nothing to think about. You played on the Wii, so it played completely different than what I played too. Because they gave like all those like a bunch of different controls, and they changed the level designs a lot. But yeah, I would definitely agree with you on Joe in regards to it'd be nice if they could see those properties get some life breathed into them again.
Yeah,
But I just know, I feel for a fact that, well, not for a fact, but I feel strongly that if they manage to take on like some of those other properties that Capcom and Konami are just kind of loafing on right now, people would people would remember them immediately and lose their shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of good properties
just lying dormant, being ignored.
Nothing happens with. Cole, what about you? What company would you like to see Microsoft try to invest in?
I think I'm going to have an unpopular opinion, so deal with it. I don't really think that there's any one company that I'm like, oh, I'd really like to see them throw their weight behind it. I like the idea better of them just finding small indie studios and just throwing their weight at them and throwing money at them and saying, make something cool, finish that project. And you know, that's how we got Cuphead, and that's how PUBG came to Xbox. I just like the idea better of them just like throwing money at these smaller studios rather than trying to scoop up and bring back a reboot or a sequel. I understand, you know, the fanfare and the desire to have those properties come back, but I'm more of the frame of mind that I want to see them pushing somebody new.
That makes sense. Want to look to the future more than look at the past.
Totally.
I agree, but the thing that sucks about that is that they're still a business. So like they need something that's gonna be recognizable for people for these exclusives, or else people are gonna be like, oh, what is this garbage? This is nothing that I care about. Like, when are they gonna bring back? Like, it's just the way that most consumers are nowadays. You know what I mean?
They want familiarity.
Right.
It worked for Cuphead. It worked for Unravel. It worked for Inside. Well, that was a timed exclusive, but still.
Well, there are games that
Cuphead was a very much, although it was a new IP, it was something familiar in the artwork that made people want it anyway.
How did you say Cuphead there? Cuphead.
I reckon this thing there, Cuphead.
I thought you were making fun of Cole for a second, of like Cuphead.
Yeah.
But
I was. What do you mean?
God
I'm so
damn it.
used to you guys making fun of me at the shit I say that I don't even notice it anymore.
I didn't know this was a trend. I just noticed you say it just now. What?
I actually had to change my vote because I've been thinking about it. I didn't have enough time. I want them to not completely buy Telltale out, but I want them to invest in maybe having a Halo game based around a group of Marines in a Telltale set.
That would be interesting. A more narrative-driven Halo. I know people for years have been saying that they would love to see BioWare do a Halo RPG.
And well, that would be interesting. I feel like that would be really weird though, because it's just like we're so used to Halo being a complete first-person shooter. Having Master Chief actually upgradable would be.
Well, it could be in the Halo universe and not just directly Master Chief.
You could always play things from the Covenant point of view too. That'd be interesting.
You mean like Mass Effect?
Halo RPG, that would be something.
To be fair, that pretty much does exist.
But that also just gave me a thought too. The idea that when Cole made the comment about mentioning, not buying up studios as a whole, it would be kind of interesting if we went into an environment, a situation where main studios like the Microsofts and the Sonys and Nintendos could actually approach studios themselves and say, look, you have a property that we want on this system that you're doing nothing with. If we financed your company to make a game based on that property and make it exclusive to us, could we do that? That way, they wouldn't even have to buy the company out to say, okay, now you can never release other games on other systems, more or less. But they can say, we're going to direct target specific properties that you possess that you're not utilizing, and we want you to do something with it. Or it would be just like the normal thing, which is you're making this new game in general that needs a little bit of a boost. How about we provide that boost to you? And then when you think about it, that could open up a great number of doors, because you could have Telltale getting paid by Nintendo to make one game, and Sony for another game, and Microsoft for a third game. I don't know. So that seems kind of like a wild pitch, but it's one that I honestly would not mind seeing come to fruition.
The Legend of Zelda, the Telltale series.
Yeah, so kind of the way that they do
so weird.
Forza is that Microsoft just throws money for Forza at Playground.
Forza the Telltale game.
I didn't realize how funny a Zelda Telltale game would be.
Forza, the Telltale
listen.
series.
You got 3 options. Yeah!
It would play out just like Cars the movie.
Turn left, turn right, go straight.
It would.
The intersection
It'd
will
be
remember
like,
that.
It'd be like Guardians of the Galaxy, where no matter what you choose, he still just says, "I am Groot." No matter what you choose, the car would just go vroom.
You know, just honk.
Honk.
See, that would be awesome. They should do that. Because
And
now
at random points, your car just breaks down.
I'll say it is a very good thing we don't have any kind of like shareholder stake in Microsoft, because we would fuck them up so much.
no, we revitalized the video game industry, man. Come on.
Forza the Telltale series would sell like hotcakes.
Oh my god, that would either be incredible or awful. Probably both.
Do something.
I'd play that for the 1K.
Honestly, they could probably do something, a storyline within like the management side of the events or the Horizon things. But that's about as much I could see them doing for choices.
So here's an interesting one. Do you think that Microsoft would ever be able to buy out Sony or Nintendo?
No.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
I mean, 10 years from now, if one of them hits ridiculously dire times, maybe, but I don't see that happening either.
Because if you think about it, outside of PlayStation, Sony is kind of a wreck.
Yeah,
but I think PlayStation is holding them up enough to stay in business, though.
I don't doubt that. I just wonder if, maybe Sony would look for possibly a way out to get out of the whatever debt all their other departments are putting them in.
If anything, I feel like they'd want to protect the one thing that's actually keeping them afloat right now, though.
True.
I don't see them making that transaction. I can see them being like, "Hey, Microsoft, I know you're interested in our games division, but how about how about baby steps? How about our television division? You guys could do great things with that."
Microsoft used to really care about TV. Maybe they'll go back to it. A TV that connects to your Xbox so that you can play it.
Hey, if that brought the Snap feature back, I'm down for whatever. Oh, I miss Snap.
Plug your system into the television and it will play it.
What?
No one's ever done it.
The fuck are you talking about, Pernell? Who would plug something into a TV?
You know what? You're right. What the hell was I thinking?
Screen on the Xbox
You silly
is
bitch.
big enough. You don't need the TV.
Oh my god! It's just I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing some crazy mess like that. But at the same time, I almost want to see NEC come back into the game. To be honest with you, shit, NEC and Sega with systems again. Though by that same token, as much as people like to talk the pipe dream talk of, I want to see this company make a new console again. I want to see this company make a new console again. Truth of the matter is, I can't support anybody else at this point. I barely can support 3 that are out now.
I feel like especially if Atari came back at this point, most of the people buying consoles anymore, I mean, not all of them, but a lot of people buying consoles are still going to be kids or parents buying for their kids, and they're not going to want an Atari. They don't know what the fuck that means. That has no meaning to them.
Their job is to tell you what it means.
The thing is, Atari does have a new console coming.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this either.
Yeah.
They do. It's called the Atari Box. I think it's like an Android-based. I think it's supposed to be kind of like the Ouya was. No, it's not Android. It's
either.
Open Linux OS.
Yeah, it's Linux. It's not cheap either. It's very pretty.
What is the cost you're talking about?
can't remember. It's several $100s. Where is it?
What? A console is going to be a couple $100?
Oh, but this is just it's $249 to $299. But this is not going to have the power of but it's not going to have the power of a Xbox One X or something. It's going to be
at all
a little Linux machine to play Android stuff on or something. I don't know what would.
Well, I mean, I will admit, in this day and age, people seem to be the majority seem to be all about the power and whatnot. But I have and still will be it's more about what you get out of the power you get. I mean, if the games if it gives you a level of creativity, for example, that you can't get on any of these consoles, and you can get access to good games that are fun if you don't feel like creating them yourself per se, that might speak volumes in and of itself. And a lot of people have a penchant for buying something, telling themselves they want to create things, and then never do. But by that point, they already have the machine. So, in your house. But I think it just depends on how they sell it, how they talk people into wanting it.
At the same time they announced this console, they announced a hat with speakers in it. So
yeah, I remember getting press releases about the fucking speaker hat. I don't know if I
trust them. I don't know if I trust them, but hey, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll have an Atari box in a year and a hat with speakers.
You need the speaker hat, man. You got to hook that up to the Atari.
Yeah.
So that
the system doesn't actually have sound unless you have the speaker hat.
Just the revival boombox. Now you just wear the boombox on your head.
Yeah, man. I mean, whatever works, right?
Everyone has to know that you're here. Everyone has to hear it.
Oh, man. I do have some other news I wanted to go over. We touched on a couple of these things as we were going through all of our other discussion. We mentioned Paragon. Epic Games is shutting down Paragon in April. Game was available on PS4 and Steam and never really took off. It looks like between Paragon and Lawbreakers, things aren't working out too well for Epic when they go PS4 and Steam only.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't Lawbreakers one of the games they had a limited run that everybody... That was devious. I'm not sure if you guys were aware of that, but there was a limited run release earlier, late last year.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there was. It was Lawbreakers and Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. They got released simultaneously. So what ended up happening was they had the regular game release of each one and their collector's editions, and then they had a bundle offer. But what ended up happening was they never stated, but everyone knows they fucking did it. They pulled back intentionally on a number of the Wonder Boy releases because they weren't selling any of the Lawbreaker copies. And it was like, hey, did you want Wonder Boy? You got a shot because we had these combo packs. So you get them both together. And people's like, I want fucking Lawbreaker. Give me Wonder Boy. And a lot of people were just buying the pair of them and then trying to go to eBay to sell their copy of Lawbreaker.
Oh my God. I completely forgot Lawbreakers had a physical edition through Limit. That sucks. Oh my God.
Game actually looked really cool too. I never got to give it a chance.
But hey, at least you
cool.
have some stickers. Lawbreaker stickers.
The thing about that maybe not even want to care about it was I remember reading that it was an online required game. Everything happens online, which don't get me wrong. I have nothing against a game that wants to try that. But I also won't bank on it in this day and age because there's so many games that are doing that exact same thing that it's very, very easy for your game to be the one that gets forgotten quickly.
True.
Which means you're seeing from a month out
especially when you start charging for it immediately. The thing that Fortnite has going for it and why it's so popular is because it released free with the Battle
Royale was free, but the rest of Fortnite wasn't free.
Well, yeah, but who the hell? It's going to be free when it officially releases.
Yeah. But Battle Royale released free, and that's what made it so big. Same with what was that one? Paladins. The reason that game blew up is because it was free. Otherwise, people would have just assumed it was a knockoff of Overwatch, even though it wasn't. But if they charged $20 for it, the game would have never went anywhere.
No. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like all free-to-play hero shooter kind of games work out too well. Because some other news from this week, Gigantic from Motiga is shutting down at the end of July.
Who's Gigantic in Motiga?
Gigantic is a Xbox One and I think Steam and Windows 10. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Windows 10.
It was pretty much a multiplayer arena-based MOBA style hero shooter that was initially a first-party Microsoft title, or not first-party, but a second-party Microsoft title. but it wasn't going the way they wanted, and they let it go. And I think it was Perfect World picked it up and went with it. And oh God, 2 people are playing Lawbreakers. Thanks, Grant.
I didn't want to say it. I was trying not to interrupt you. Continue.
That's funny though. 2 people, Jesus.
Yeah, what are you looking at right now to see that?
The
Steam
Twitch
charts.
chat.
Here, I'll paste it in. I'll paste it in.
Oh
the Steam,
goddamn,
Twitch
2
chat.
people. Jeez.
But
But
Lawbreakers.
I loved Gigantic. I thought the game was awesome. I'm not just saying I really enjoyed it because the guys from Otiga came on the show. Chris, what was that, like episode 100 and something? It was early.
I have no idea. It was a long time ago.
That was like back when you and I restarted the show.
That's right.
Like 3 years ago, something like that. We had 2 of the guys from Motiga on, and I thought the game was awesome. I'm going to try playing it some more before the end of July. They just put out a January update, and they said it's the final update, and the game is just going to be shutting down, which I think it's a bummer.
At least they give a lot of warning on it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and it's not like a deal with like that Marvel game where they gave a ton of warning and then it immediately just got shut down.
Oh, yeah. Marvel
this game,
Heroes
there's no
Omega.
license.
Marvel
There's
shutting
no
down at the end of
license to pull.
December, and that's like, never mind, next week. Fuck you.
There's no license to pull with this game though, so
No.
they'll probably actually make it through July.
Hope so.
We hope. Yeah.
Some
I'm
other
a little
news.
sad about it though.
Are you?
Go ahead. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I actually played it with my friends a few different times. And it was good to play for like a handful of games here or there, but there wasn't a lot of like map diversity. It could have used more maps and stuff.
No.
And it got old kind of quick, but it was still fun to go back and be like, you know what? We haven't played in a while. Let's go run through a little bit of Gigantic, and you go play 2 or 3 games here or there before you go do something. It was a good palate cleanser.
Yeah. I'm kind of pissed I bought the fucking founder pack though. That sucks.
Yeah, I have it too.
Damn. Oh well. Let's
Games
see.
as a service. It's the future, guys.
Oh, yeah, fucking love it. Can't wait for all these other games to have their server shut. Like, I'm still pissed I can't play Phantasy Star Online on the original Xbox.
Remember that game?
I loved PSO. You could still play it on GameCube and Dreamcast offline, but the original Xbox version of Phantasy Star Online required Xbox Gold, which, you know, no big deal. Games require online and require gold, except they shut down the original Xbox Live, and no matter what, you cannot play the original PSO anymore, which sucks.
I kind of wonder, as much as I loved PSO, I haven't touched it since the Dreamcast era. I honestly wonder if it holds up.
Who knows?
Was there not a PSO for? There's no PC PSO then. So you're saying
There's that PC Blue
Burst.
Blue Burst. There we go.
I know they have.
I'm
like,
guessing people play that, but is it nostalgia play or is it genuine fun play?
I played it not even like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sure I downloaded it and fired it up because I'll go back every now and then, and it's still Phantasy Star Online. It's still just fun to run through and kill some monsters and get some new equipment. It's still fun. I still loved it.
Pizza slicer.
Oh God, there was some crazy shit you could get in Phantasy Star Online.
Yes, there was. That was honestly my favorite component of it. It was like I think my favorite weapon was the weird toy guitar,
or like the squeaky hammer, toy hammer you would hit people with, and it would squeak when you hit a monster.
Oh, I missed that damn game.
Oh, so good.
And it was like a revolutionary era. I have friends who outright failed out of college because of that game. It's like I could study for my exam, but fuck, another raid.
Or how many times would you play Phantasy Star Online and all of a sudden the game would stop and you're wondering like, oh my God, what happened? And then you realize someone picked up the phone and tried to make a call because it was still dial-up.
Oh, those were the days, man.
No, they weren't.
I don't miss them in regards to efficiency, but I do miss them in regards to like the just the level of all that came from them. I mean, now online is just like a requirement. Like you expect it on damn near everything. And it's just a matter of turning on your system. The game just demands you even go online to start the game. Monster Hunter, for example. But Phantasy Star at the time was this revolutionary thing where it was like, holy shit, I can play online without my PC. And I can play offline if I want to, no problem. But why the hell would I do that? My friends are all on the internet.
Yeah.
I got them. Like, it's hard to convey exactly what I want to say here. It's just, I look back on times like that where it's like, man, back when playing online was like a mystical thing, where now people are like, hey, you want to play online? Like, oh, fuck no, I don't want to play with strangers. Here.
Mr. Frey in our Twitch chat, what's up, Jacob, with a fun update for us. There are now 4 people playing Lawbreakers. He says, "Love
watching the show.
Love that SML bump." So you're welcome, Cliffy B. We got your back. SML is taking care of you.
One step closer to having a team of rogue leaders ready to take on the world.
Jesus. Let's see, some other news. An image surfaced online of a store selling a prepaid card for Age of Empires Definitive Edition with the price of $19.99, which, we kind of expected. We knew Age of Empires was getting a Definitive Edition remastered coming out. I think the $20 price tag is nice. The curious thing is that the card, the picture that the guy took, has the Windows 10 logo and an Xbox One logo.
So
that
2 different
would be weird.
versions?
The game has not been announced for Xbox One at all. So either this is some kind of printing error, or maybe we're getting Age of Empires Definitive Edition on console, which would be neat. That might be something to really test out mouse and keyboard support, huh?
Yeah.
Because strategy games belong on mouse and keyboard for the most part.
True.
I don't know how Halo Wars got it to work, but they did actually do a very good job.
They did.
It can be done.
We talked about 2K earlier and Red Dead. Red Dead Redemption 2 finally has a launch date of October 26th. Do you think it will hit the launch date?
I think so.
No.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
Keep dreaming, CJ. Believe in yourself.
I honestly don't care if it ever comes out, but that's
I'm indifferent about it, honestly.
I love the first Red Dead. I never got into Grand Theft Auto 4. I never really got into Grand Theft Auto 5 as much as I would have. I loved Red Dead Redemption. That's one of the few AAA open world games that I completed the story. I actually completed a game. Remember when we used to do that? Complete games.
It's kind of nice not being able to do it again too.
And then the last bit of news I have, some Nintendo news. Mario Kart is coming to cell phones.
Dude,
I'm
what?
sad by that.
Have you heard about that?
I have. Mario Kart Tour.
Mario Kart Tour will be releasing on smartphones sometime between April and next March, which is a nice tight window to narrow it down to, by the way.
Sometimes between now and next year. You know.
They just said fiscal year 2019, so that ends in March of 2019. No other information is known except for the fact that it's called Mario Kart Tour, and it'll be on iPhone and Android whenever it does release.
It's like, I guess they got to go where the money is, but I'm like, I'm not a mobile guy. I don't think I'll ever be a mobile guy. So whenever I hear about a property that I care about, I'm like, no, on mobile, it makes me cringe. Though, by that same token, they have done the Fire Emblem on the mobile phones.
Mm-hmm.
That's been doing really well for them too.
Animal Crossing. Everyone's been addicted to Animal Crossing. Have you guys gotten into that?
Are you serious? Are you?
I've seen it. But
I thought it was freaking the worst, and none of my friends are enjoying it.
Into it.
You like it, Joe?
I never played it.
It's just like all of the magic of none of the magic of Animal Crossing is a part of it, and above all else, the only way to get people to come to your town is to meet their demands. They're like, I will come to your town if you buy this color sofa. And I'll totally, but I'm not going to come visit you until you buy this color sofa. So then you go traveling around, clicking on trees and spending money to get little dollars to buy the sofa so you can have a visitor. It's very strange and not very good. Sorry, it really pissed me off because I was excited for Animal Crossing Mobile.
I've heard a lot of people say that they were addicted to it. They really enjoyed it. I know Ashley was addicted to it. She had a lot of fun with it. I downloaded it. I never started it. I don't know. If I want a new Animal Crossing game, I want a real fucking Animal Crossing game. I don't want something mobile.
And that's how I feel about a lot of those mobile properties where it's I know there's a market for them. I'm just not in that market. I knew people that were excited for Super Mario Run. I'm like, why? I'd rather get a real Mario Run.
I thought Mario Run was fun. I dropped $10 to get that. I thought it was worth it.
It was fun. was fun.
See, maybe
My
I should
phone's
give
not
it a
good enough
try.
to run that shit. I don't buy phone games.
I mean, those games will never take over an actual full-on Nintendo release. It's just,
not.
a bite-sized taste to keep you while you're, on a road trip or something and you don't want to drag your Switch with you.
I wonder
I think
if they'll
it's
just.
good for,
That's almost like the DS was designed for that.
Almost.
With the Switch.
I think it's a good way to introduce Nintendo characters to a younger generation who is more prone to play mobile.
True.
I mean, my kids play the shit out of their phones and
How
their
does it-
tablets.
Cole, let me ask you a question because I always wonder about that because of the the way that the biggest excuse me, I'm choking. The biggest grossing games on mobile are the ones that are free. So are you able to keep your kids out of the microtransactions stuff? Because that's how all these games are built now. Like I just wonder how that works.
We have Android and we have it set up to where they need my password to buy something. And we set
Gotcha.
it that way because number 2 bought Minecraft. So after she turned around and bought something on accidental purpose, we set it up to where they need mom's password. Nobody can guess mom's password. So,
Gotcha.
but
Sure.
it is, they do tend to play more on mobile. They have Minecraft, obviously. And, they've played the Mario games and some of the developers, Mighty Studios, who made Skyling, made a mobile game. And my daughter actually saw me scrolling through Twitter and saw his post about his mobile game. She went and downloaded it. She plays the shit out of it. She loves it.
Wow,
So
That's cool. What's the name of it?
that's it's a Flappy Bird knockoff, but it's an owl. And instead of just being like flying the owl through the specific one level over and over, trying to get as far as you can, there's like a different layout and puzzles to get through each level.
Hootie
That's not helpful in trying to find the game to
I know
download
it. I know it. I don't know the name off the top of my
Just you scream for your kids right now. What's the name
I
of
would if they're not there in bed.
Whatever.
Wait, dude.
I
It's
make my
party
child
time.
look. Mom's gonna do a podcast. You got to go to the.
You said it was going to snow there, right? They're not going to have school tomorrow.
It is.
Fuck
It's
it. Wake 'em.
snowing too. I know.
Where are you at? Where are you at for snow?
Kentucky.
Oh wow!
But the accent doesn't give it away.
Once you get past a certain point, everybody's got an accent. I don't even know anymore.
Hey, I have that famous Ohioan accent. It's very noticeable.
Very thick.
My husband's from Ohio, and he always makes fun of how I talk. I'm sitting there going, "Look, it's been 17 years.
We love
Get
it.
over it."
We always make fun of everyone from the South.
His mom, my mother-in-law, she's always just like, "What time is it again?" And I'm like, 5. Fuck you.
No,
Fine.
I feel like everybody from
Just
Ohio
my-
and like Michigan and Pennsylvania, it's like we're all just designed to notice people's weird ways of speaking. We point it out and make fun of them immediately.
Oh yeah, every time our oldest will have company come over because she's a teenager and teenage girls come and go from the South all the time. And my husband, the first thing he'll do is be like, whatever you do, don't offer them ass. Because apparently
What?
I sound like I'm saying ass when I say
That's what I thought you said.
Hey, man, you want some of my ass?
But he says it when he pronounces it, he says ice. And it's just like, it
Ois.
takes so much gumption for me
It's
to even
ice.
try to
Want
pronounce
some, you want some
Don't want
ois?
somebody to say ass.
it. But it's ass.
Y'all want to go get some?
Amazing.
Y'all want to get
How
some
much
ass cream?
do you want?
Ice cream.
Get
You want some
some ice
ice cream?
I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
I like that component of the accent. Like, get some ice cream in the salad if you want to take.
I
You
love
want-
the taste of ice cream. So
If-
creamy.
If you want a taste of it, I got some
I
downstairs.
like chocolate ice cream.
I swear,
I've said this before. I'm still amazed that you don't say water instead of water.
No, but I do say wash.
Yeah,
Like-
that's another good one. Warsh.
The
Cole.
washing machine.
Cole, I have a test for you. Say oil.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
That's the one.
Foil.
I'm from North Carolina, so
I knew that was coming.
What else, Grant? What are some other good ones?
well, you got 5. An ice. I
Far.
don't know. What are
I
some
don't
other
say
ones?
fire. I say
Fire.
far. or war for a wire. War.
I don't know that
Where's
one.
an O? There's no O in those words.
I know. It's a very lazy dialect, unfortunately.
Instead of fire, I can understand far. Like far, look near or far. Or like a light of far. But for? There's no O.
Over yonder in the upper bottom. We just said all kinds of dumb shit.
This is just like make fun of Cole section of the show.
Yeah.
Well, we need to involve her more this episode, so yeah.
I asked my landlord how he was doing when I lived in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, and he said tolerable fare, I reckon. And I didn't. It took a few minutes to figure out exactly what he said.
Give it to us again, Grant. Slow it down a bit.
Tolerable fare, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what you just said.
Tolerable fare. Tolerable fare, I reckon. I'd imagine that at the moment I am tolerably fair, is what he was saying to me.
God damn.
Another one I heard more recently. I was in the grocery store in the line, and another one I asked the other one how he was doing, and he said, "What you know, no good." And I was like, he's like, what do you know? What are you up to? Probably nothing good at the moment, is how I assume that translates, but I'm not sure. Why are we talking about this? Sorry, I'm from the South. I love it. Cole, up top. High five.
Almost like have accents too.
Oh, god dang y'all. Jesus.
Do we even think we have accents, or is it just whatever?
Oh, no, they're the weirdos. We're good.
No, we're
good.
Don't say shit like Mario. Mario.
Mario.
We don't say that.
Super Mario Run? Are we going Minnesota?
Mario.
Super Mario Run. You know. Oh boy. Oh boy. Speaking of Nintendo, there was some more Nintendo news, and Nintendo is claiming Nintendo Online is going to launch in September.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Supposedly.
Uh-huh.
This is what, the fourth time they've given it a date?
I've had friends so excited about Nintendo Online, and I'm the one that's like, why would you want it? We got free online from them right now. They're not offering anything that you really care about, and they're going to start charging for what you're getting for free right now.
I mean, to be fair, it's not expensive. It's what, like 15 a year or 20 a year, something stupid cheap like that?
Oh, 20 a year, yeah. It's not the cost itself isn't the problem, because it's just like you said, it's dirt cheap compared to the other candidates. But it's like saying goodbye to the last bastion of free online games on your consoles and being happy about it. Like, what are you happy for?
They still claim that, you know, one of the perks of Nintendo Online is going to be retro games with online play patched in.
Which,
we still don't have a virtual console.
Can't wait for that.
It's a year.
Mario Online. Like, I don't even understand any of that shit. That makes sense.
You could just get a $5 Raspberry Pi Zero and make your own emulator.
I like that one too, Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi.
No, it was Raspberry Pi. Raspberry.
Oh god. Oh, there was one more bit of news. Xbox backward compatibility. We had 3 titles added. Yeah,
no one can talk right tonight.
Xbox backward compatible. We got 3 new titles.
That's what they should call Xbox backwards compatibility is Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, there we go. Xbox. Well, I'm going to do that. We have 3 new Xbox titles this week. Misadventures of PB Winterbottom, which is a cool puzzle platformer kind of game.
Whether you can like kind of clone yourself and like stack up to the pie on every level. Yeah. Speaking of pie.
Pad up. The Darkness 2, which I'm excited about. I really enjoyed the first Darkness game. Never got to play the sequel.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Darkness 2 Electric Boogaloo. And then Spec Ops The Line.
Which I'm super excited about.
That was a cool game.
You just crossed
it.
Yeah, a lot of people were excited about that one. So I
got that last the winter sale or whatever, and I was like, I can't wait for this to go backwards compatible in 3 years, and that'll happen soon.
Yay! But
who did play that game? Here.
I did not.
I haven't. No.
Did anyone play it?
Which one? The Darkness 2?
Spec Ops The Line.
Oh no. Oh,
I've seen playthroughs of like a lot of the game. I haven't played it myself though.
It's a great twisty
right game. A friend of mine said that the plot is surprisingly really good.
Yeah, it's quite good. I don't even like war games. It's killer. So
yeah, we probably, I know the twist in the game is like the big thing, so we probably shouldn't mention that at all.
Well, we also shouldn't say it because I'm fucking wanting to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still want to play it too. I actually went to pick it up at GameStop once, and I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for Spec Ops: The Line," and he kind of the little fellow looked at me funny, and I'm like, "No, I want Spec Ops: The Line." And he goes, "We're sold out of that. Can I interest you in Viva Pinata?" I was like, "I've already 1K'd Viva Pinata. I want fucking Spec Ops."
Yes,
Can I interest you in Viva Pinata?
Your
Fuck
face,
you.
Staffer.
He's like, "Did you mean Black Ops?"
I need a copy of Blob.
Like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? And I got so mad and stormed out, went back to my husband sitting there, and he's like, "What's wrong? Why didn't you get your game?" I was like, "Because they tried to sell me Viva Pinata."
Did you get it?
Do you like cute puppet things that breed somehow? You should buy this game.
That you beat and turn into candy that you feed to other ones. Viva Pinata is secretly brutal.
Yes,
pretty-
I love
I
that
love
game.
it, but
In a
it's secretly
dystopian
brutal.
future. That's what we Happy Few should have been.
Yeah.
Well, we Happy Few's not out yet. It could still turn
Beat the
into.
shit out of
Still
like a
be a
pinata and turn them into candy.
I wonder if you could. Is Viva Pinata a part of? Is that a PC
It's
release
a Game
or
Pass
is it just?
game, isn't it?
Is it just Xbox? Is it PC or two? Because you could
I
sure.
don't think it's on
I don't think
PC.
you could totally rescore that game. Like put like John Carpenter horror music in Viva Pinata when the dramatic stuff happens. Like that would be so dark. Dun, 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 you know, like, oh, it could be amazing.
You could play it on the Xbox One you're borrowing though, Grant.
Well, yeah, it's already on there actually. I think you got the what's the collection, the rare collection?
Rare replay? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, rare replay's on there. Yeah.
It's also backward compatible.
Play actually. That to me was a fine example of a decent collection.
That was really good, especially
It
for
is-
the price.
It installed weird. Like the way it handled all of the actual games
Yeah.
is strange,
Yeah, made
but
all-
it's all there though.
It did it that way because those were like the first backward compatible titles on Xbox One. So all the 360
Right.
games are just the 360 games. And
Right.
then all the other games were lumped together in their own package.
You do notice though that like they're in the ready to install. If you uninstall them, there's a lot of them show up twice because there's the rare replay banner
Yeah,
version, and then there's
that
the
happens
one.
to me a lot.
Yeah, because it gives you both versions for some reason.
So what you're saying is I should never uninstall it.
Well, if you do, just install the one that has the rare replay banner because it's a very obvious which one's rare replay.
Yeah, I don't think Rare Replay gave you both versions. I think the people who saw the two versions already may have owned some of them
I already
digital.
owned some of them. Yeah,
Mhm.
That might be maybe they were games with gold at some point or
yeah
something.
they
Possible,
were some of
because
them,
I know like Nuts and Bolts, I only have a Rare Replay branded copy of that. I don't have a standard one. But
Yeah, I
the
don't think I have
others
the
I
ones
do.
for Banjo Kazooie and 2D, but I do know I have one for like what is that weird like Cameo or something?
Cameo.
Cameo.
Kamehameha.
Which, for the record, that game deserved more love than it got.
It
That was a
did.
decent game.
That was a fun game. It got overshadowed at the launch because it wasn't what people expected it to be. But I thought it
They
was
played
really
up
solid.
that heaviness. It was like, it used to be colorful. Now it's all brutal and violent. I'm like, okay, once I got past the change up to brutal combos, the game was still good. And it looked great. So it was like, it was all about that just bad buzz. It's amazing how I can sync a game without even trying.
Well, what are you going to do? There's so many games release anymore that, they can't all be winners.
They can't.
Or
They just
can
can't.
they?
Maybe they can.
They just can't.
Unless.
If you include a Snoop Dogg voice pack, they can.
Cameo
Yeah.
now with dog voiceovers. Yo, for shizzle,
Jesus.
I guess,
But that's all the news I got. Did anyone else have news they wanted to talk
So,
about?
what do you think about the plot for the Mario movie? Like, that's just
I don't know anything about
they
it.
have a plot. I thought it was,
I'm thinking like, what if it's the plot of Full Metal Jacket, right? but it's
in
all
the sewer with you.
Yoshis. Like they're gonna go to war because they have to. Like there's a lot of them because Mario's always throwing them into pits. So you have to have a lot of Yoshis in there. It's about the drama of the boot camp, Yoshi the Yoshi boot camp, and
They just can't take it.
that's the first half of the movie because this is Full Metal Jacket. Second half is actually them going to get Princess Peach back because they're going to do that bullshit, right?
Bullshit.
And then
You know, like the plot device that's been for every game, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
they'll
I
get to
love
that.
the smell of Goomba in the morning.
Hey, the Rabbids has a different plot. It's kind of cool.
I have not. I'm gonna have to get that.
You guys should play it. It's super fun. I'll send it to you guys. You guys can play it.
I do need to get more time into it, but because my concern, I was worried that the upgrade system and all was going to be pretty light overall once you see once you actually end up seeing what the trees look like. But the overall game itself is good and actually legitimately challenging. It's not baby's first XCOM at all.
No, it's pretty rough actually. I've hit some walls, but I've since torn them down. It's a good game.
Break the wall down.
Breaking the wall down.
I finally finished Odyssey for myself. At least like the main,
Wait, story mode or full on?
like just the story mode.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
that
You
was-
haven't been to the moon and stuff yet.
Yes,
That's
I
like
have.
okay, 200 moons down and a gillion to go.
No, I've been to the moon and I did the stuff after that. Like,
Like the
I thought
dark.
there was like
moon and-
I thought there was like a secret section that like you needed like 500 moons for.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, it's the dark.
I know
side.
there's like what, like
the
maybe
dark
one or
side.
two other.
Yeah, there's the
Like, I don't
dark
wanna
side and then
spoil-
the
I don't wanna spoil
super
anything.
dark side.
Yeah, Spurlers, and then there's Full Metal Jacket planet.
We're just saving you the despair of realizing that you've seen pretty much every real world the game has, except maybe
Yeah,
the
pretty much.
Kingdom. So it's like, because I don't get me wrong, I still intend to play through it, but I did spoil it for myself a little in advance. And originally I was unhappy about it, but now I was like, I'm kind of glad I read this online because if I got to that point, I think I'd have been unhappy. Like it's not going to.
Oh, I was satisfied with it.
Or that's what I was going to say. Like it wouldn't have necessarily said this game is terrible now because of this, but I'd have been like, man, I was really hoping for one more real kingdom, one more real place to go and explore and hop about, you know. But instead, we get a gauntlet and a place to get. Was it basically the equivalent of achievement moons?
Yeah, there's that. There's like I don't want to spoil anything for the people that haven't, but like I feel like there's a plethora of things that I'm still going to have to do even though I have technically completed the primary storyline.
Actually, this is worth asking, I think, and it won't count as a spoiler, I think, per se. So I know about the additional moons that become unveiled or become made
Yes.
available. Would you say that any of those moons are ever located in places that become new to the places they go? Like it's not just
I'm still finding areas and maps that I didn't know existed.
okay. That's good.
When I go back to try and like, because I'm just trying to find more moons now and just try and collect them all essentially. I'm still finding areas of maps that I haven't even like come close to yet.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. At least,
Because dude, these maps are huge. Like
they really are.
They're really big.
Like there was a point before I learned about that post-game thing where I was actually trying to get every moon in every world before moving on, and I stopped at the Sand Kingdom.
Dude, yeah, that would take
because
forever.
I maxed out every place I could have possibly gone on the Sand Kingdom. I mean, there was like places that I did not even expect there to be secrets, but there were. And I still was missing maybe at least a quarter of the moons that were listed on the page that was there.
There are an absurd number of moons and secrets in Odyssey. It is like brain shattering how much shit is in that game hidden.
It's nuts.
Actually, I would like to ask this question for fellow Mario folk. Don't get me wrong, the Mario games have been great. I pretty much enjoy them all, especially Mario 3D World. But am I the only one that really would like to see a return to like the crazy array of power-ups that were existent in some of the games that were around, not like, say, time power-ups?
What, like 3?
Yeah, 3. Like, there's always that dialogue where people say, which is the better Mario game, 3 or World? And, of course, the majority typically, I'd notice, say World, but
I like
there's
World.
a part of me, World was great. I mean, I like them both, but I'm torn mainly because for as great as World was, I missed the insane world variety and crazy amount of power-ups that 3 had. And
here's the problem that
The
I have
Hammer
with 3,
Brothers suit, the Frog suit.
Sure, they're all great, but the problem that I have with 3 is those levels are way too fucking short.
I agree with that, but they could remedy that. They could easily remedy that going forward. And honestly, when you really lay it down, if you're playing like to rip through the game, some of those world levels were pretty short too. There were some long ones.
Oh yeah.
But plenty of them were quite short. It's just a matter of like when you're familiar with a level versus when you're unfamiliar with a level, it feels longer. There were definitely some levels in, like, say, the Ice World, where that level kicked my ass half the time, where those levels felt longer than they actually were. Mario World, I feel like there were some levels like that felt longer than they actually were, especially those Star World levels. But then if you go back to Star World, they were all within like 100 game seconds. They were short stages, but we still love them all the same, right?
I would love for them to put out. I mean, I enjoyed like the new Super Mario Brothers levels that were on the Wii. I would love for them to do something similar to that, but go back to the art style of World.
No.
I would be fine with that under one condition. They have to put more and better music into the game because that bop, 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 bop got
Dude,
old.
they could put only that track in and I'd be fine.
No! Don't do that to me, man. Don't do that.
Absolutely. Dude, absolutely.
Just torturing me.
What we need for a new Mario soundtrack, this is what I was going to have Grant do. Grant is so dead set on Full Metal Jacket and Mario mixing up that I think Grant needs to score the soundtrack to that hypothetical movie.
Oh, that could be legit.
Just imagine Yoshi being pulled to the bed with all the other Yoshis around, pulling the sheet down, and then them beating him with socks filled with soap.
Grant, you've been talking about wanting to do a new album. I think you have to do like a really dark and heavy Super Mario War soundtrack.
Full Mushroom Jacket.
Yeah.
Full Mushroom Jacket.
Yeah.
Done.
Grant,
wait.
Full Mushroom Jacket.
Grant.
Fuck.
What's up?
Grant, you better let me drum for that.
Oh, sure. You know it. You got to be really good with bongos though, because that's all it is.
I can do that.
You're gonna have to fight his
djembe
brother for drumming duties.
Okay.
I have a djembe now.
You know what it is? It's not Yoshi's. It's Toads. Toads are the ones that are in the boot camp, right?
Oh God, yeah.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, it's the Toad.
Full Mushroom Jacket. Jesus
Chris,
Christ.
we got this.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like, hit me up. I'm 100% down to like collaborate for that.
I can't wait to see Full Mushroom Jacket live at MagFest next year.
Dude,
this is my fire flower. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Dude, come on. Yo, this needs to happen, dude. Like, I'm down. Like, let's make it a reality.
Fuck yes, please, yes.
That is fucking gold.
I want to do narration for it, like the voice clips. I want to do those.
Yeah, I'm in.
I didn't know they can I didn't know they could stack toadstools up that high.
I didn't know they could stack turtle shells up that high.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Talk for me.
Well, guys, I know we've been chatting for a good while now. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to bring up and talk about, or should we wrap this up? Because I don't want to keep you guys all night.
I'm ready. I'm ready to succeed.
Well,
And
what are y'all playing? You guys playing anything?
Rock Band.
I booted up Horizon about halfway through the conversation when we started talking about it, and I've been playing that.
During this exact dialogue, I'm playing Pixel Links DX.
Fuck yeah, man. I love that game.
It is a great game.
It's so good.
I fail as a gamer right now, and I bought what is it? What is today? Thursday. Last Friday, I bought Monster Hunter World at midnight when it released, and I haven't touched it yet.
Ooh,
good. Go play Iconoclast instead.
What?
I'd like to tell you guys what I'm playing, but everything I have is embargoed right now, so I'd have to kill you.
Oh no!
Well, we'll hear about those next week and the week after.
Drowning in embargo.
Any Switch stuff in there, or is it all like
no,
other
I don't
stuff?
have Switch. I wish I had a Switch. I don't. It's all Xbox.
Yeah, I picked up.
Put out there though that I bought Monster Hunter World when it came out, and I want to play Dragon Ball Fighters, but I'm not going to pay for that. I'd rather just play someone else's purchased copy, I think. But
yeah, I want to give that a shot too, actually.
But Iconoclast and Celeste, man, don't let them get washed down because you got to get down with that 200 hours of grinding monster flesh. You got to play it. They're great games. I
think the last game I played was Wells, which I reviewed like almost a year ago, and now I finally went back to it like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, let's finish this. Apparently, it suffered a
Chris. That's what we could do to wrap this up. Years ago, we used to do 4 for February, where each of us would pick 4 games that we have been in our backlog for how long that we've just never beaten, and we were going to beat them in February. Since that's way too many games for each of us to pick 4, how about we each pick 1 game that is in our backlog, and we are going to complete it in February?
Can it be one that we've already started, but we just haven't finished?
Yeah. Actually, most of the time, that's what we picked.
Okay. All right.
So I have one for that easy.
Well, which one is yours going to be?
I know mine.
Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Gesundheit.
I was trying to craft a list of games to knock out over the entire year 2018. I am failing at that miserably thus far, by the way. But
I
one that I started on and was serious about knocking off was Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. And I reached the last dungeon maybe a few days ago. I've just been kind of sidetracked by reviews plus Monster Hunter. So it's been getting a little bit of a side shuffle there, but I think I could probably knock out the main storyline by the end of February.
Nice. What about you, CJ?
I think my definition of completing is a little bit different. So I'm using one that's like I've already beat the story. I haven't done the DLC yet, but I want to knock out the rest of the achievements, and that's Saints Row the Third, which I have I think 40 of 80 achievements.
I love that game.
That's a great game.
It is a good game.
Saints Row so good.
You will thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, I've already beaten the main story, but there's still a lot more to go.
Yeah,
there's
a really ridiculous achievement list for that too.
Yeah, it's long. There's a lot.
Not to just jump in on your Saints Row 3 thing, but I have this quick story about how I took back Skyrim to GameStop and got Saints Row 3 instead, and I've never seen the face of a GameStop employee look like that before. They look like it's like I killed their unborn child or something. Like they could not understand how I could possibly be returning.
Why?
But
guys, but like different shit.
Yeah, it's like I could play 10 hours of it. I didn't dig it. I want to swing the purple dildo around. I mean, I'm just.
Everybody has needs and desires, and this is just what I need.
Yeah, that's all.
So
sharing that side. Great game.
So, Grant, what game did you want to complete in February?
Oh, you're just picking one? You said something like 4 for February.
No,
that's what we used to do, but
that's
because there's
talk.
fucking 6 of us.
I'm so close with Rabbids, I don't want to say that. I just bought Skyforce today, which is one of my favorite grindy shoot 'em ups. It came out on Switch, but that one's not really one you beat. You just kind of play it forever. Probably Celeste. You guys familiar with Celeste?
What was that last one?
I was just talking about.
Skyforce?
Everybody keeps talking about it now, and I'm just like, you know what? All right, maybe I have to look at that for myself.
Is that what you're asking about? The one I said?
Yeah, Skyforce.
Yeah, it's like I played the older version on. It was on mobile for a while, and then they released a version on Steam, and then the Reloaded just came out on Switch, and I've been waiting for the Switch version because it's the kind of game you just kind of pick up and play for 5 minutes. But it's a shmup, but it's super grindy. You're supposed to replay levels. It's about building. It's the equivalent of a clicker, but it's a shoot 'em up. It's just crazy grindy, really fun upgrade tree. Every time you upgrade something, you can really feel the difference, and it's just a ton of fun.
So kind of like how Rogue Legacy was, sort of?
Yes, pretty much, except it's not randomly generated. It's always static levels, so people they'll ding it a couple points because of that. They don't like, but you just learn the levels. It's like playing Ikaruga or Life Force over and over again. You just learn the levels, and it becomes more and more fun the more strong you get. So it's $10. I really love it.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm
looking on the store right now.
And I know on Xbox One there's a Skyforce Anniversary and Reloaded.
Yeah, Reloaded is the new one. It's been on Xbox and PS4 for a couple months, but it finally hit Switch.
Which one is so Reloaded would be the one that you would suggest?
That's the new one. I think it's got more stuff. It's got a cool you can build new ships, and it's got a little card system in there, but not like microtransaction card, like just power-ups and
like
it's
trading.
Neat.
Okay.
Like you can equip certain cards for certain levels if you want, stuff like that.
Okay.
Or unlock. It's cool.
Dig on the Switch.
Kris, what about you? What did you want to complete in February?
I'm gonna pick a Switch game. I want to finish Zelda finally.
A good one,
actually.
Cole, how about you?
Because I'm close. I have to do one more of the Divine Beasts, I think, and then like the main final battles and stuff.
I was gonna ask you which one, but how would you know?
The one in The one in Death Mountain? The Gerudo one, I think.
Sure. Cool. I think that was my last one, actually.
Yeah, because I got to try and figure out how I don't fucking instantly burn every time I go up there.
I guess you do.
Worth asking why you're talking about the game. So I'm looking at trying to go back to Zelda this year because I bought it last year, and it didn't quite pull me in like it got literally everyone else on the goddamn planet.
I love it.
So as a person going back to try the game again, do you have any tips or suggestions for how to make the game as awesome as possible as an experience?
I had to think of the game completely differently. So I couldn't go into it with the mindset of I'm going to play a Zelda game. I had to go into it thinking almost similarly to I'm about to play something similar to a Skyrim or one of those types of games.
Yeah, you can't look at Breath of the Wild as a Zelda game.
No. I don't think you can.
It is such a different beast. I mean, it's still a Zelda game, but just gameplay-wise, it is such a unique Zelda game that you can't be like, oh, I'm about to play Ocarina of Time, because it's not anything like that.
You know how they took XCOM and they Nintendo-fied it with Rabbids, and they took RPG games and they Nintendo-fied them with Paper Mario. I feel like they took Skyrim and Nintendo-fied it.
That's exactly what it feels like to me.
Because I'll
drop
Skyrim.
in there and I'll just grind. I'll just go and I'm just gonna go try and farm some stuff that I could sell for rupees, or I'm just gonna try and find a couple extra shrines so I could have a little bit more health when I go to try and do that boss fight that's giving me a problem. You can find ways to just go in there and casually play it so that you could still gain progression and you're still benefiting yourself in the long run. But then when you want to have those intense sessions of all right, I'm going to finally beat this fucking divine beast. Those have been the most rewarding things that I've had, game experience wise in the past couple of years. That's why I ended up really loving Switch. Yes, dude. Yes.
I would also say that I found the first 2 sessions with that game very overwhelming because they throw everything at you at once and the controls are kind of dumb. At least at first. It took 3 sessions. I was like, man, I am micromanaging like crazy. I don't know how I feel about this. And then it took 3 sessions of really sitting down. And then I think I got the horse and I beat a couple of shrines and was like, oh, I feel it. And then I couldn't stop. But it really did take sitting down and really kind of making yourself get off the plateau and get out in the middle of nowhere for that to happen. So I don't know if you hit the wall like I did.
Well, see,
Pernell,
that's basically what stopped me from really sitting down and grinding on it more is that I hit this wall with the Divine Beast. I can't even go up to the place where I'm supposed to because every time I try and get close, I'm just burning up.
And Kris, you like to sit down and grind on things.
Sometimes.
I knew someone was going to pull that joke and run with it. I just let it ride. Let it go.
Yeah, somebody really pulled that joke.
Maybe you should put some ass on it.
Where is Carnage in this episode? Speaking of. Did you invite Carnage?
No, I haven't heard from him today at all. I was going to see if he wanted to drop by, but he's just, I don't know.
Should have let him know earlier than today.
That son of a bitch. Cole, what about you? What game are you going to finish up in February?
I haven't even started it, so I think maybe I'll play Limbo.
There you go. That's a quick one, too.
That's a great game.
Such a great game.
Yeah, you might actually have enough time for that.
Yeah.
So you haven't touched, you've bought it, but you haven't played it. You're familiar with it and everything. You just didn't.
I don't buy games, but
that game was given away for free.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's so.
I haven't touched
cool.
it either. I'm in the same boat as Cole there.
Limbo's a quick one to get through. That's a really enjoyable game.
Quick this month because it's my birthday and my anniversary and stuff for all this month.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
That's me next month. I got the birth anniversary next month, 16th and 18th, anniversary and birthday, back to back.
Nice. Birthday.
So I expect gifts from everybody.
My presence is gift enough.
Yeah. Just send Xbox cards.
I'm gonna guess.
I'll just send you a picture of me.
Go ahead, Grant. Guess my game, because you're
gonna play. Is it new?
No.
Okay, I won't guess. You're gonna play. Shut Up and Jam.
Oh God,
I know what it is. Actually,
I am going to go with Lego Jurassic World.
Oh wow!
I knew it.
I was so close.
You fucking liar.
I knew it.
Actually, I was gonna say it was one of those. I was gonna say you were gonna play one of those indie vibrator games.
Oh yeah.
What?
You piqued his interest.
But yeah, we all have our game. Let's reconvene in a month's time, either in person or you could send emails in or whatever, and we'll update each other on how things went.
All right, I'll be back with 1,300 gamer score in Saints Row the Third.
Sounds good. So what do you think? 1 month time, we'll all come back and do this again.
I think it's a good plan. I think we should make this a monthly thing.
I'm scared.
I'm good for that.
Pernell,
of course you
you're
are.
scared.
You're always.
I don't know what to do.
You got to play Shin Metami Tensei number 5.
There you go. You got 4 weeks to do it, Pernell.
Shin Automaton Atana Tensei.
So
Konami.
Like, I've never played that game series before, but I just think Shin Megami Tensei is like the coolest sounding thing to
Is
say
that the
with
guy
your
that won
mouth.
the Royal Rumble this year?
Oh,
I like that one. That was a good one.
Very close too. Doc Havoc in the chat said that he already got me a birthday present at MagFest, and he's actually right. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. He got me a figure of Red from Transistor.
oh, nice.
It's really sweet looking too. I have it by my desk. Really nice package.
Nice packaging. It's very good.
So Ian, thank you
like
for
the
this hot package.
Yummy.
But I have one final question for everybody before we wrap this up. 5 years of SML, how did it feel to be on this show and be a part of this show, whether it was for the past 5 years like Kris, or if it's still kind of a recent thing like CJ and Cole? How
Well, I
awesome.
wouldn't say
Tell
it
me
was
how awesome I am.
Look, I'll be honest. At first, I was really nervous and hyped to be on it. And then as it got old, I was like, why am I still here? And then I left.
Fuck this.
That was a great
I'm
story.
joking. I really like it.
What about you, Pernell?
Honestly, I enjoy coming on the show and chatting about games and the like. I mean, I have maybe days where I'm like a little bit on the sleepy side, or days where it's just too goddamn cold outside and everything sucks. But it's always fun to kind of get on and start chatting about things you like. In this case, video games with good people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Just a good time.
Some of us are better than others, but yeah.
Oh, hush you, young man.
Cole, how about you? Tell me how great I am.
I love that I get to do this show. It's one of the times during the week where I get to break away and I'm not mom.
Get away from the fucking kids and the fucking husband and the fucking pet.
Fucking dogs. And I just get to lock myself away, usually in the bathroom. Tonight I'm actually in the bedroom.
That's
Oh, yeah. Cole hanging out in her bedroom with 5 guys.
I'm on the bed all around up with a blanket go because I had to turn the heater off and bitches be cold. Because Joe's like, we can hear your heater.
It's a loud heater. Grant, how incredible am I?
Pretty froze. Don't know how to answer that one. No,
Grant,
without words, sir.
You've actually been a part of the show for quite a while, because not only have you come on and guested the show multiple times, but you did our second theme song.
I did. It was
I
fun.
still frequently play.
Let me just say a couple things. First of all, it's very sweet that you've played the amount of my music that you have. You're great. Also, it's been fun. It's been a fun excuse to make some tunes, several, more than just a few, and add jingle balls to the occasional track for Christmas. Also, I mean, there may very well be some professional opportunities for me musically that have come out of the relationship that we've had and what we've been able to do on the podcast too. So that's pretty great. Also, it's great to just kind of keep in touch with you too. Also, I totally want to get on a podcast with Cole just so we can try and convert you. Like by the end of the episode, we could probably get you talking pretty country by the end.
Oh Jesus!
We could get you a little lilt. Make sure you go to work the next day, talking a little funny.
See, my dad has lived in Tennessee for 20 plus years now, and he doesn't have an accent. So I don't think you guys are going to get me to.
We can try
to have an unintentional.
I can convince you to say Winder.
Winder?
Winder? No.
Look out the Winder.
This does not compute.
Winder. Like,
or snappers. Oh my
Jesus
gosh.
fucking
Play a
Christ.
game with me where there are snappers. And it's
So is that how
horrible.
you enjoy Snapper Ghost Warrior 3?
Snapper
Yep.
Elite.
I love snappers.
Snapper V2.
I didn't even know what you were actually talking about. Using Snap
Dude, it took me a minute too.
I'm just enjoying Winder.
I'm not talking about fish over here.
Oh yeah, no, Red Sniper, no.
Grant, here's a second question for you, Grant. Out of all the stupid fucking songs you've made for my show, which one did you have the most fun with?
Oh, probably Ball Squad. I mean,
That's a really fucking
it has to
good
be
song.
just because it was so fast and it was actually really kind of fun to be able to. I'm such a pinball dude. You broke a record for the first and probably only time that you've gotten both of the video pinball heads in the same room.
Yeah, I'm proud of that one.
It was a very good one.
Farsight and Zen on one show.
Yeah, that's sick.
How
was
much were
cool.
they at their throats?
They got along really well.
Yeah, it wasn't a total surprise. So they just were just there.
You should have asked the question like, which one of you sold better though?
I think the best part of that was me asking, why are you doing this? And they're just like, you asked.
I mean, like maybe it's not a big surprise, but the pinball video game community is not quite as big as like the battle, like the snapper games.
Epic and Player Unknown into the same.
No,
Not as big as the Lawbreakers community.
no.
Which, by the way,
Dang.
It's about
More
the
Not gonna let that go, are you, Joe?
Mr. Freight was giving some updates. He told us that there were 6 more people playing 1994 Star Wars Dark Forces than Lawbreakers. And
Wow.
there were 2 more people playing Myst than Lawbreakers.
I love Myst.
So I'm hoping that we'll get one more update from Jacob before this
We have
episode
to
wraps
know
up.
in comparison to Farming Simulator.
Oh God. There you go, Jacob. Compare Lawbreakers to Farming Sim. Pick any year. Pick them all if you want. Just tell us how it compares to Farming Sim.
Or even like Forestry Simulator. Go rogue and go one of like the way out there ones. My husband plays Forestry Simulator. He may be in there playing that shit now.
Taking down the tree.
Or you could do Boo Bunny.
Oh God. Oh
That's a
shit. Kris, you're the last one. Just fillet me audio wise.
Well, I've been along for the ride.
It's
for
been
5 years.
He left.
It has been. It has.
5 years, man, and I think every single time that I do, I mean, obviously it sucks that my schedule blows the way that it does, but like when I do get to hop on and do the calls with you and everything, like I get to have that like bit of nostalgia factor because I get to think back of like being Tim's couch goblin and like where I'm at now and what I'm doing now, like compared to that, and it's just, yeah, it's neat, and obviously, you know, it like Grant said, it's a chance for us to like hang out because obviously, like, you know, you and Ashley did a lot for me over the course of my life, and it's a way that I can kind of like do a little bit of like a pay it forwardy kind of thing. Like the least I could do is try and make some time and talk some games and bullshit for a while. Like, so I enjoy doing this kind of stuff, man. That's, you know, it sucks that I can't do it as often as I used to, but it's still, I love it when I do it, you know?
3,500 people playing current Farming Sim.
It's actually a lot more than I thought.
Are we still
That's
at
actually a little
4
less
for
than I thought it would be.
Lawbreakers? Are we still at 4? I want to know if the SML bump is still going strong at 4
Was it sustainable?
I'd like to know what else. We got Mr. Freight here with the hard hitting numbers. I'm curious to know what else is hanging out around that number. How did he get to the? There's a top games. Is there a bottom?
Is there a bottom list?
Like, where's the? How can I reverse?
He did mention,
Let's
I missed
let's
this
be honest,
one.
There's probably games that have 0, right?
Probably.
I mean, like Space Hulk Ascension has 12 players.
Nice. I missed this one before, but he did say that 18 people are playing Disney Infinity on Steam right now.
Okay.
Wait,
So-
the one with the like little figures?
Yeah.
The very same.
Oh,
There are 5 people playing Depression Quest right now.
Depression Quest. Lawbreaker's still at 4, so we gave Lawbreakers 100% bump. And Carnage finally shows up in the chat right now. So, Carnage, perfect timing as we are just about to wrap this up.
All right, quick. What was the name of that game again that I'm looking up on my Switch?
Skyforce.
Skyforce Reloaded.
You don't even have to look it up. If you go to the store itself, it's like in the top 2 rows of new releases. Like you can't miss it.
All right, I'm gonna
Carnage.
turn it on right now.
Damn, like we haven't been doing this for 2 fucking hours now.
Pay attention to your Twitter. You're always on there anyway.
I did tweet it. It has auto tweets now.
No, that man.
That man.
Carnage, a piece of shit. Yeah.
That man.
The man. The.
I bet
Joe.
Carnage was playing Snappers.
Snapper. So Joe,
Yes.
it's been
Only
5
get one
years.
of them.
Is there after 5 years is there a bona fide name for do we know what SML stands for 5 years later?
Someone might listen.
It's always gonna be that in my
Yeah.
heart.
I thought it was just for Saturday morning lecture.
Well, it's Thursday night, so it doesn't really work that well.
But it releases. Wait.
Friday
When does-
nights.
No, it releases on
Friday.
Friday.
Friday nights
Which
and
means you
Tuesday
can
nights.
Download it in anticipation for Saturday.
Oh, there you go. Saturday morning lectures. So this
Depending
is
on where you live, it might actually be at Saturday morning.
maybe.
Just notice it says 5ml.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, Joe started this show. He was actually living in Japan at the time.
Yeah, shout out to Randall Drew. He whipped up a quick 5ml logo for the 5th anniversary. You guys didn't get to hear it yet because we just jumped right into the show, but we have brand new theme song from Tony Dickinson, Prince of Darkness.
My name
Brand
is
new.
Was that a legitimate gasp of awe from someone, or was that sarcastic?
Brand new.
I'm really sorry.
Brand
I
new.
know it excites you.
Thought it was a
That's
hiccup.
sarcastic.
Brand
New
new.
theme song. Whoop-de fucking do, you piece of shit.
I was just being nice.
No,
I
Tony
was
did.
humoring you.
Tony
Or should I
did
say I
a new
was
version of the
humoring
theme
you?
song for us. Norg did a brand new intro for this episode, which, Grant, you heard it.
I heard it.
What the fuck is wrong with George?
He's on something. I don't know, but it was. I'll have what he's having.
So good. So thank you to all of you guys for joining this episode and celebrating 5 years with me. Kris, obviously I couldn't have made it this far without you. CJ, you were awesome to have on for the time that you spent on the show. Come back more frequently. Cole, thanks for picking up where CJ fucking slacked off and quit.
Is that what full fellatio feels like?
Pernell, you're awesome having on all the time. You picked up a lot of reviews that people have not been able to do, or people have flaked on me, and you've been there to pick up the slack when others haven't been able to do it. And Grant, you're just awesome to have on the show. I will seriously play Narrowband for fucking ever on this show because it's such a good release.
Thanks, man.
So
Till
please
Narrowband
release more
2.
music because I'm getting sick of the same 6 songs.
Yo, apparently we got to get started on those. We got to get started on those tracks for
Full Mushroom Jacket.
Full Mushroom Jacket.
Oh yeah. Do you remember 3 years ago or something? Whenever we decided we were going to make an EP,
We were gonna
for
get
Magfest,
Xboxes?
so you were going to get Xboxes. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep. I didn't forget about it. I just ended up getting an Xbox, and
Yeah, I think that's right. Sounds about right.
Oh,
No,
God.
dude, for real though. Like, I'm honestly like, I'd like to collaborate. I want to work on more stuff. It's just, I want to make sure that I'm like, I'm kind of getting burnt out on having to take care of like all of the instrumentation myself. So I just like collaborating with other people here and there, you know?
Well, let's make something happen. Once we wrap this up, let's discuss something. I would love to see you guys not only collaborate and put something out, but actually like do it Viking Guitar and do it Metroid Metal, like get a band together and perform it.
I'm dying to do like an actual full band thing at Mag.
Yo,
I love that I did like the Jam Space thing and it went really, really well and people loved it. But like, I want to play in a band at MagFest. Like,
I just want to call Triangle. Is anybody doing a triangle for this band yet? Because
There is.
Yeah.
You can also handle the Vibra Slap.
All right. I don't know how to play that.
Yeah, dude, the Vibra Slap is my new favorite percussion instrument. It's literally, you know, the beginning of Crazy Train? That sounds like a rattlesnake.
Mm-hmm.
That's a viper slap.
Oh no, I was going to use my automaton. The batteries are dead.
I just like the name of it.
No.
Viper slap.
My automaton is dead. No. But that is it for now. We are going to take a quick break before we get lost in another conversation. Thanks again, all of you guys, for being on and being a part of this show. Who wants the last word? CJ, you haven't been here in a while. Give us some final words.
Why the fuck was it me?
Ball squad, shoot for the skill shot, it's a house ball. Ball squad, shoot the green like a mock jackpot. Mike is the simulator, Mel is the zen. Show with the milky voice, Stemage the Uber fan. Ball squad, with a ball squad.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. I hope everyone is enjoying the insane 5th anniversary of this awful show. And we're going to kick things off with some reviews. We're just jumping straight to reviews. We got a lot to take care of since we took Tuesday off. Kicking off with Railway Empire, developed by Gaming Mind Studios, published by Kalypso Media Digital, released January 26th on Steam for $49.99, January 30th on Xbox and PS4 for $59.99. In Railway Empire, you will create an elaborate and wide-ranging rail network, purchase over 40 different trains modeled in extraordinary detail, and buy or build railway stations, maintenance buildings, factories, and tourist attractions. Keep your travel network ahead of the competition. As you heard in the interview with Kalypso, our good friend Royal Sefton is checking this one out. Royal, how are you doing?
Woo!
I wasn't sure if you were celebrating the trains or celebrating 5 years.
5 years. Well, I'm pleased to be part of your awful show, as you called it. But
it's pretty bad. It is pretty.
I'm trying to elevate it, but maybe I'm dragging you down. I'm sorry. No,
you can't drag us down. You can try pulling us up. I will yank you down with me, kicking and screaming. You do not bring joy into my life. I will fucking ruin you.
Oh, is that a promise? Oh my god. Okay.
So Railway Empire, we talked with Christopher at Kalypso about this one the other week, and I've put a little bit of time into it on Xbox, clearly not as much as I've wanted. I know you've poured a ton of time into it on Steam. What do you think of Railway Empire?
I think it's cool.
All right, moving on.
Yes, on to the next review. I think that's good. I think it's a good game, though. It's cool. Now, we discussed it a little bit on in the preview, and to embellish on that a bit, it definitely addresses a specific need, and I think that need is getting a good railway sim out to the consoles. Now, that said, I evaluated the Steam version, but it's eminently playable. It's, I think, a good introduction for somebody like me who hasn't really played a lot of these kinds of games.
Cool. So what do you do in Railway Empire?
So this is mostly concerning the 19th century, the Transcontinental Railroad and expansion west, and some pre and post Civil War. That piece of history. So you get to build up a business, and you can play as one of a few different characters depending on which part of the campaign you're in. Going out further west, and eventually you have to face off against some AI competitors and maybe potentially even buy them out or sabotage them in the process. So it's very specific. It's a period piece as far as train games go, and the geography is specific to these United States, not really worldwide or anything like that, or any sort of like make believe land. But it's all about establishing lines between these frontier towns and eventually building a very successful business. And then depending on your skill level, how much do you want to manage? Do you want to make it so that the traffic management is so realistic that you've got to build with that in mind? Or do you want to just build it in a way that's simple enough to really just kind of ease you into the process, and you don't really care if trains necessarily pass through each other. It can be realistic or unrealistic depending on how you want to play. No crashing, I'm sorry to say, Joe, but
I tried too, man. I tried.
There, I did a little research, and there is a railway sim. It's a Sid Meier game that actually does let you crash your trains.
Rated M for mature.
Yes, as to whether it is particularly graphic, I don't think it is, but it does satisfy that need somewhat. It's out there.
No, we should point out that this isn't just like, hey, let me put a train track down and see what happens. Like, this gets in depth on everything. Like, you need to place down where you want the station to be. You have to choose from a number of different stations. You have to lay out the track the way you want it. You have to make sure to go around any kind of farms or buildings that might be in the way. So you have to, set waypoints with the track of where you want it to go and how you want to adjust it. You need to make sure that if it's a populated rail line, that you have side tracks so that trains are able to pass each other. You have signals on there, and you have like I don't know if refueling stations, but resupply stations along the track.
Sheds, yeah.
Like this game is ridiculously in depth to the point where I was fairly overwhelmed at the beginning of the game of like, what did I get myself into? There's a lot of shit to do in this.
That is absolutely correct. You'll spend a good hour in just the tutorial chapter. And, I think that it does a pretty good job of acquainting you with the game, but it really is just scratching the surface of what you can do in it. And, you can all, in addition to going through the story mode, you also have your sandbox and free play modes that give you the ability to really just, let loose and explore what the game can do, by your own terms, whether you do it with infinite resources or you try to set up a challenge where you don't have infinite resources. You have both of those options at your disposal. So there is a good amount of depth to gameplay. Now, the thing that shocked me, because like I said, I don't play a lot of train games. I don't play a lot of tycoon games in general. The kind of the forerunner of this genre, Railroad Tycoon 3, is apparently more in depth than this. And I think that kind of speaks volumes about what sort of game this is. It is deep. I think, to me, to you, to folks that maybe don't play a lot of these tycoon type games, but there are deeper games still. So to me, I think the angle that this game really captures is introducing it to all the console players. The Xbox and PlayStation 4 release, I think will be a big part of that. But it happens.
Christopher was saying deep but accessible.
Yes, exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between the two, making it so that if you haven't played a Railroad Tycoon or similar game, you have the ability to pick this up and go, hey, that's pretty, and also actually take it a step further and go, oh my God, that's complicated. Good amount of challenge, a good amount of learning curve to it, but not impossible, not intimidatingly so.
This is such a little thing that I want to give them a shout out for, and that you can have a ridiculously long character name in the game.
Oh,
because in many games, like, look at NES or SNES RPGs where you're like limited to 6 letters, something like that. In so many games, it's like put your name in it and I'll put just like Joe or Joe Cam or just Cam, something like that. And in recent years, I've been trying to incorporate SML into my character names and stuff like that. So my character's name in Railway Empire is Samuel Mumford Lawrence. And it fit the full thing, spaces and all. So thank you, Kalypso, because I remember doing something similar in Vikings, Wolves of Midgard. I can't remember what it was, but it was like Svetlanen, something Lagenhagen, something ridiculous, just to see if it would fit, and it fit, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm keeping it.
Nice. See, I think I just went with Royal or something. I went generic, and now I have to go back and do Royal Victor Sefton Jr., the first junior Esquire or something.
Oh my God, you need to let me know if that fits the whole.
I think that would be brilliant, especially if I plays the Industrialist with the Snidely Whiplash mustache and all that shit.
I will say I do.
Railways, and I look like I'm going to tie somebody to them. You know?
Oh God, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
Oh, Snidely something L. Snidely. How can we get an SML out of that?
Oh, well, if you turn the W upside down, it's an M, I guess.
Snidely Miplash.
Well, the ML, Miplash, you hyphenated or something. I don't know.
What is wrong with us?
That's a stretch. Anyway, Railway Empire.
Yeah, I do have a few minor gripes with the game. As in-depth as the tutorial is, there were still some sections in it where I just felt lost. Like, it would tell me to do something, and I'm like, how? Where? What do I do? So I'm like going through all these menus, and I'll eventually find it. And thankfully, the game, you know, when you're in build mode or when you're doing stuff, it slows things down or stops things so that you can get shit done that needs to be done. I do wish some things were a little bit more clear or a little more hand-holdy, but it's a sim game. You can't expect it to sit there and babysit you. Yeah, right. You got to get your big boy pants on with this kind of game.
I mean, 10, 15 years ago, the Tycoon games, they were a dime a dozen. They were everywhere. So this is kind of a resurgence of that. And so, you know, you kind of got to expect for any of us that might be new to it, a little hand holding would be nice. You know, when Beardy McBeardface or whatever his name is that walks you through the tutorial takes off suddenly. You know, okay, I'm going to go talk to the politicians now in Washington. You go ahead and do your thing.
No, well, come back.
Shit, what's my thing? Okay, I guess I'm going to put a train on this farm. Oh wait, no, let me go to my list and see. Oh shit, I have to connect this to that way out there. Oh my god. You know, so you kind of got to fumble a little bit to get your way through it. I feel you there. No. You know, same thing happened to me.
On the flip side, something I really enjoy, this is a goddamn good looking game.
It is pretty.
Even on console, I know you PC Master Race folks, you got like your super giga chip computer and your
no hold on, hit the brakes, man.
Your hectablocks.
I may have a gaming PC, but it is just like it's a little bare bones. I mean, it's running on a chip that's now 5 years old. And it's a $120 graphics card. I mean, I didn't buy this thing to mine bitcoins or something. This is pretty low end stuff, and it still looks pretty. I gotta admit, it looks good.
You know what else it looks pretty on? The Xbox One X, because Christopher mentioned that this has 4K textures in it. It's not just something that has like 4K textures and it's up-res and everything else. This is full Xbox One enhanced 4K visuals, HDR. Like it is a damn good looking game on the X.
Nice.
Yeah, they weren't fucking around.
Yeah, I'm running it at more like a 1080p-ish. I have a wide screen, so it's like 2560 by 1080. Looks pretty. Zoom in, you know, you can see all these little minutiae, all these little details. Zoom out, you can see the whole, Midwest. It's really a good looking game. I got to give props.
And speaking of the Midwest, this was something I mentioned in the review, and it was kind of danced around a little bit, but we can confirm the Midwest is basically the starting chapters in easy mode, and as you go to the coasts and the more mountainous regions, it gets more difficult. So I was excited to see that happen in the game.
Yes, where you put your tracks and how you account for elevations and terrain, it all matters, man. You know, that's where some of the depth comes in. I know they have the tech tree and stuff, and Christopher is real emphatic about, 200 different parts you can upgrade, all these engines you can buy and stuff. Just the bare bones of where you put your tracks can make or break you.
Indeed.
You know, it's a big deal. How much it's going to cost to put that track there and whether or not the train's going to make it.
And I didn't even know there was fucking weather in the game. Like, I saw big-ass storms rolling through the air. I'm like, holy that's a big, like, lightning crashing and swirling clouds. I was waiting for a fucking tornado to show up.
Yep.
It's impressively cool, and I'm happy to see Railway Empire coming to console. I know train games aren't super rare on PC, but on console, like this gives sim fans and railway fans a chance to try something we don't see on consoles much.
Absolutely right. I think that's a win.
All right, so final verdict, $50 on Steam, $60 on consoles. What do you think of Railway Empire?
It toes the line between try it and buy it, and that's because tycoon games are kind of niche. They're not going to appeal to all tastes. But if you're going to spend money on a game like this, it might as well be Railway Empire. It's a good quality game.
I agree. Sounds good. Next up, we have a handful of previews to talk about. The first one is called Past Cure, developed and published by Phantom 8 Studio. This one will be coming out February 23rd on Xbox One, Steam, and PS4 for $29.99. Past Cure is a cinematic, story-driven experience where the player follows the struggle of a broken man searching for the missing pieces of his mind. With intense cutscenes and intriguing story items throughout the levels, the players can unravel a story that will keep them guessing till the end. Our friend DarkMika covered this one and sent in her thoughts on it, and this is what she has to say. Past Cure is a third-person shooter, stealth, puzzle, horror, mystery. Basically, it has a lot of stuff in it. Yeah, we'll go with that. The amount of genres in this is a bit staggering. This preview is based on a very early build that only allowed me to play 2 early partial levels. From the visuals to the overall feel of the game, it reminds me of a mixture between Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and The Evil Within all rolled up in one. You play as Ian, trying to figure out why you have weird magical powers while trying to figure out what's real and what's not when his twisted nightmares start to intrude on reality. The 2 areas we had were a prison during a nightmare and a waking time in a hotel, or a waking time in a hotel. In the nightmare, it was about puzzle solving. It had a variety of them, from logic story puzzles to simple box puzzles. The hotel was more of a stealth action scene, depending on how you wanted to try to play it. Enemies have a decent AI, they move at random, taking cover, trying to flank you, etc. Also parts we have to hide, and the AI moves at random, and there's no set path for them to walk, which is really cool. Shooting mechanics are odd since there's 2 sets of reticules, which I think need to be lined up to fire correctly. Melee combat is hard, especially on a keyboard, at least for me. Occasionally requires the extra button prompts to block and finish enemies more quickly, which I failed on a regular basis. That being said, I haven't seen either of these in any other games, so it does bring freshness to the combat. There's also stealth attacks, which are single button presses that instantly kill enemies. For the planned $30 price tag, I think it's worth keeping an eye on. Hopefully they bring out some form of public demo for each of the systems so you could try it out and see if you agree. But I think it's a really solid game. That being said, if you have a crappy PC, you're going to want this on console. It is a fairly intensive game. So I am definitely looking forward to hearing more about this one later on this month, but it sounds early on that it's shaping up to be pretty decent.
Sweet.
I like how it just... Sweet. Someone unmuted their mic.
I was channeling my inner king. Sorry about that.
Have you seen anything on Past Cure?
No, I have not.
This one looks pretty sweet. I'm excited to see more about this one later this month.
Yeah, sounds good.
But next one that you're going to talk about is called Soul Grabber, developed and published by Masthead Studios. This one just released on the January 29th on Steam Early Access for only $1.99. Soul Grabber is a fun beat-em-up mixed up with randomized dungeon crawling and exploration in which you will face countless fearsome mobs and grotesque beasts, hidden deadly traps, and powerful demon knights. Royal, tell me about Soul Grabber.
It's cute. It has an interesting art style. And that was part of what you had sent me, the Steam page on it and said, "Hey, you interested in checking this out?" And I was like, "Yes, this looks like fun." It's cute, and the thing that's kind of interesting about the art style is that the sprites actually they look like paper dolls, because when you rotate, you have almost no third dimension. You're very flat as you turn around. It's an interesting style. Kind of reminds me of like Paper Mario or something.
I say it looks like cutouts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, little cutouts. And you flip them around, and they're just wafer thin. And it's got a sort of like a cartoony, macabre sort of feel to it. And I love beat 'em ups. I think one of the greatest regrets I have is that I still have not played through Mother Russia Bleeds. Every time I sit down to play it, I love it, and then something distracts me, and I get back to it a month later. Such a good game. Huge fan of Streets of Rage and so forth. This game would hit those buttons, but it really needs more time to bake. So there are some very fundamental things that I feel are currently wrong with it. And most of them involve, unfortunately, fundamentals like hit detection or I don't know what to call this. It's like pain chance or that ability to stun your enemy as you're punching them so you can do combos. Those sorts of things don't really happen. So as I was playing the game, the only way I could really survive is if I kept pivoting and moving constantly. Throw a punch, get out of the way, throw a punch, get out of the way. It was very tedious as a result. If I just stood there and tried to throw a combo or, dare I say, button mash, I would just get my ass handed to me, and it was simply because they would stand there completely impervious to the damage I would do, at least ostensibly. They didn't look like they were taking damage. They just kept wailing on me too, so it was like mutually assured destruction if I just sat there.
Yeah. Well, we should point out that even though this just released in early access, like this is as early access as I think we can get with an early access title. Even on the Steam page, they say that effectively the game is in pre-alpha state right now. It's a current build just to show off story elements and base mechanics, but everything will be worked on and improved over the release. And I think that's part of why they put it out at $2.
Exactly what I was going to get at. It just needs to incubate. They need to focus on these things. If you have those expectations in mind as you're checking it out, it's got a lot of charm. And there's a fun thing that I thought was pretty cool. After I got my ass handed to me the first time, there's this ability to possess the body of your enemy. Kind of think, you could think Headlander, or you could think, this is a game with David Bowie, Omicron, where you could switch bodies. You never really quite die. That sort of thing happened here. I got my ass kicked, and then I became the person who kicked my ass. And I started walking around as them. You have this ability to possess your enemies. Yeah. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So it's like the potential is definitely there. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just there's some core mechanics they've really got to sharpen up if they want this game to be a hit.
Well, they are saying that they're planning to be in early access for about a year. After asking, there are plans for Xbox and Switch releases as well. Not sure if PlayStation is in the mix as well. I would assume eventually, if not.
Sure.
Given this is still possibly a year from full release and the asking price right now is only $2, do you think it's worth checking out at $2?
You know, at $2, if you're kind of buying your way into a community to participate in the development of this game. Now, it's a very small wager that they're going to take your advice, your feedback. That's the word I was looking for, and build on it. If you're willing to pay that $2, I think it could shape up to be a great game. I like the look and feel. You know, the characters kind of remind me a lot of like the undead race in World of Warcraft. That sort of quasi whimsical look. And it's a good art style. It looks polished on the surface. Is when you go to play it that is kind of a disappointment right now. But if they have a year of early access, $2 is a drop in the bucket for what could very well be a $10, $15 title easy.
Very true. And if it's coming to consoles eventually as well, it's going to have to be polished up eventually, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's fucking $2. It's $2.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
it's
on.
$2.
It's fucking $2. You cheap bitches. Just get it.
You can't beat $2. Yeah.
Like exactly. Literally, as we're talking, I'm adding it to my cart and checking out because it's fucking $2.
Yeah. That's like the price of a lousy beer.
You could sell some Steam gift cards for $2. Or not gift cards, well, like the trading cards for $2.
Yes.
And
yes. I've got a couple foils.
And not only is it $2, it's on sale until the 5th for $1.79. So you're saving even more money, you cheap bitches. Just get it.
There's your sales tax right there. Perfect.
I'm an asshole with cheap games, I guess.
Yeah, no, you can't
get it.
That.
It's $2. Just get the goddamn game.
$2, man.
Oh, man. All right, one more game with you is called Trailmakers, developed and published by Flashbulb Games. You might know them previously. A bunch of them were at Press Play. Released January 31st on Steam Early Access for $19.99. In the toughest motoring expedition in the universe, you and your friends will build your own vehicles to cross a dangerous wasteland. Explore, crash horribly, use your wits to build a better rig, and get as far as you can with whatever spare parts you can on your way. Royal, tell me about Trailmakers.
Yeah, so this is a cute game. I'm using cute a lot. I should probably. This is a charming game. There we go. Let's change up the words a little. So it kind of combines some of the things I liked about Lego Worlds with Bad Piggies. And bear with me, it's a weird analogy, but the reason I say that is you drop in as the character that there's some very limited customization options for what you want your character to look like, and you get dropped on this desert-ish planet, and your first job is to assemble this vehicle. And you assemble it from a few different parts. You've got wheels, you've got some bricks, and you've got an engine, and you've got some steering mechanisms, so you know that it turns with the front wheels like a typical passenger car. And you climb in the vehicle, and then you try to make some jumps, and as you go, you hit checkpoints where it'll save your progress, as well as you can pick up bolts to unlock new things, and a couple other parts, these power blocks. I can't remember what they're called exactly. And as you pick them up, you get to add additional engine blocks, which are, I mentioned Lego Worlds. The vehicle is very Lego-like. It actually is measured in these sort of like blocks or voxels, finer than what you'd see in Minecraft, more akin to what you'd see out of Lego Worlds. And these engines are kind of like a 2x2x1 rectangle, and you can rotate them and place them wherever you want for weight distribution. They power the vehicle, and as you add more engines, you get a little more horsepower to climb hills, but where you put them matters. In the distance, you can see a checkered flag icon telling you where you need to go, and on your way, you're going to deal with more and more obstacles and these even taller hills and these jumps you have to navigate. And how you plan out your vehicle is going to affect whether you can traverse them or if you're going to bite the dust.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's a cool looking game. As far as it being where it is right now in terms of development, I can say, yeah, it's an early access game. It's not clear to me what you're doing when you're not in your vehicle. There doesn't really seem to be a whole lot to do outside of get back in your vehicle, try to drive, try to make those jumps. And unfortunately, the one thing that's kind of hampering it right now is play control. If they nail that, it's going to be a great game. And until they do, so if you remember the first Mass Effect and driving the Mako.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but a little worse. It's like that, but a little worse. The steering is just that much worse to navigate. The big climactic scene where you're driving the Mako through the relay, that was awesome. If I tried to do that in this game, I would get my ass kicked just by virtue of bad play control every time.
Gotcha.
And when they polish that, I think they're going to have a winner. But that to me is like the biggest problem. The second biggest problem is that it's checkpoint driven, which it's kind of cool. Make that jump, you get to this glowing circle in the ground, and that's your checkpoint. So when you inevitably die trying to make a jump, or if you fall in the water, or you hit an explosive plant, yeah, they exist. They're kind of like these nature minefield type things. It's kind of funny. I got this warning message saying, don't drive over the explosive plant, and then I blow up. Like, well, okay, I wish you had told me sooner. If with those checkpoints, if you want to try something out, you might have to spend a couple minutes just getting there. And that seems kind of tedious. It's like you should be able to quick save or something. I didn't see an option to do that. So that may be something that they'll correct later, or maybe that's just sort of the cost of taking that risk. Do you really want to do this, or you think, oh crap, I better find a place to save my progress that's closer first before I try this stunt.
Yeah, well, I know with when they were still Press Play Games, or at least the team that were still with Press Play, they were working on something called Project Knoxville, which was like kind of like a battle royale style game before they blew up and became popular. And they frequently did like closed play sessions that I was able to be a part of, where they would just play with people, take feedback, and they were constantly taking feedback and working on it. Even on Steam with what the developers have to say section of the early access, they're very open and vague with a lot of stuff, like where our plan is to move out of access sometime in 2018. They don't have any kind of set dates, like we want to be in for a year and this is our deadline. It's basically, we're going to work on this and you're going to tell us what you want, what needs work, what could we do, how can we improve this. So this very much sounds like this is going to come down to the community guiding the creation of this game, which could be pretty cool.
Yes, I would agree. And I think that's worth the ride. It's definitely one to keep your eye on.
So it's $20 right now. It's actually on sale for $18 until the 6th. Do you think this is something worth jumping in on right now? Or I know they just today, it is Wednesday right now, just today they announced that it will be hitting Xbox Game Preview later on this year. Do you think it might be worth holding out for that?
Yeah, it's one of those games that since I was evaluating it on Steam, I had the option of using keyboard and mouse or using controller, and I have a Steam controller, and so it allows me to play some games that aren't really meant for controllers, and they still kind of work because it emulates mouse and some other stuff. To me, the mouse and keyboard handled better. If they can get the control problems polished out, I think it'll be a phenomenal console game, because otherwise it translates well to console, I think. I would keep an eye on this one for sure. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. I was going to say, either way, it sounds like something that we should definitely keep an eye on.
Absolutely. It's funny because it's like just a little piece of strategy, just where you place and rotate those additional engines that you bolt onto the car, and all those little designs. It's a lot of fun. That's the bad piggies part of it. You kind of approach each hill and each obstacle as a new challenge, and how am I going to adjust my vehicle to meet that challenge? And I can see it. I can dig it. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds good. Well, Royal, thank you as always for coming on and chatting about these, and thanks for being part of the 5th anniversary of SML.
Hey, man, I am glad to be a part of SML. It's fantastic. It's a fun show. I've had a lot of fun.
Don't lie. Do you have any final thoughts to sum everything up? All right, next game to talk about is called Wolverblade, developed by Fully Illustrated, published by Darkwind Media, released January 30th on Steam and PS4, January 31st on Xbox One for $14.99. Help Britannia defeat the Romans in Wolverblade, a hardcore side-scrolling beat-em-up inspired by the old arcade classics. Experience a historically inspired storyline across 8 campaign levels, or test your skills in the game's deadly arenas. Go it alone or team up with a friend in local 2-player co-op. It's time to show the 9th Legion what you're made of. Pernell Vaughan's checking this one. Pernell, did you show the 9th Legion what you're made of?
Yeah, and apparently I'm made of rage and vigor.
And blood.
This game, and blood. Oh, I know what they're made of. They're made of blood.
So tell me, what is Wolverblade? Tell me about this.
Wolverblade is a tough-as-nails 2D beat-em-up side-scroller where you control one of 3 barbarian warriors. 2 dudes and a lady. Their stats are based around power, endurance, and speed. Gameplay is similar to traditional beat-em-ups that you may be used to, the Streets of Rages, the Fighting Rages, the Final Fights, but they added a bit more structure as far as like some additional combos. There's a few grab moves. There is an air dash, a ground pound, and an uppercut for a rising attack too.
Tiger uppercut.
It was the exact same line, pretty much. One of my main go-to combos was a rising uppercut, a sword dash, and a ground pound. Gameplay in this game you would think would be simple because they beat 'em up, but in reality, it's simple yet difficult because enemies are not stupid. They will do like guard stuns. They can kind of phase through your punches as far as like not getting stunned and knock you out to the point where you have to use dodges and guards almost religiously and with a lot of zest. You can't really sleep on this game and just think that matching the attack button is going to get you through and save the day. But in and of itself, they do give you unlimited continues at various checkpoints. So even if your score suffers and you don't get the best score at the end because you didn't one-shot a stage, you can at least say you were able to see the game by simply pushing forward.
Yeah. Now, I have a question for you because I covered this one back on the Switch when it first launched, and difficulty was a gripe that I had as well as a ton of other reviewers thought that the game, like, we understood the tough difficulty, but we felt there were just a handful of points where it was too punishing. And one of my gripes in particular was the fact that levels pretty much only had a midway checkpoint and there was nothing before bosses. Is it still the same, or have they added more checkpoints?
hearing that, they definitely added checkpoints because I have died at least once on every boss. And when you die at the boss and continue, you start right outside the boss's chamber.
Oh, thank fuck.
So it looks like they added checkpoints before every boss fight. So it's still the middle of the stage, but then at the end of the stage for the boss. I can't imagine having to play the whole second half of the stage and the boss, because the boss alone, that's almost like a gripe I've got. The bosses have so much health in this game. It takes me about as long to beat some of the bosses as it took me to beat a majority of the level. It is crazy.
Yeah,
but
those bosses don't fuck around. Now imagine not having a checkpoint right outside of a boss.
I'll be just insane. And the funniest part about those, Lise, is like they still have the generic arcade mode if you want to try to run it with 3 lives and 3 continues. So some psycho out there is trying to do exactly that. He can have it because I don't want that mode. I want the mode where I can use checkpoints and experience the game. And that's a rare thing for me to say.
Indeed. So what kind of extras are in there? I know when I played it on the Switch, they had like historical videos showing the areas that stages were based on and logs that you could go in and read, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool concepts there. So in normal stages, there are the occasional offshoots to levels. Might be like a cottage you can go inside of or a crevice that you can go into. And if you find those areas, you'll find either special documents related to the history of the game's universe and also slightly our actual universe, because this game has a slight historical backing to it. And also you might find special weapons, unique weapons. And when you find those weapons, they also unlock documentation on the designs of the weapons, their influences, and things of that nature. When you finish a stage, in addition to unlocking the obvious, which is the next level, you'll also unlock video commentary and artwork portraying the environment that the level is based on, along with information that the creator of the game drafted up and made available to the player. So while I did find it difficult to find myself wanting to like stop mid-level after picking up a document, let me read these 3 pages, I will say that it was pretty cool to be able to stop a play session and either before logging off or before starting a new one, looking at some of this documentation and saying, oh, okay, so he based this on, this area is based around like Stonehenge. And okay, this makes a lot of sense. It has this history with this tribe. Okay, this is pretty cool. So it's there for the historian or for the curious, but if you're not interested in that kind of stuff, it can be also just another set of collectibles you can acquire to get 100%. So it's there for both sides of the fence.
And I was surprised by how intrigued I was by that stuff. And like, it's not just like, here's a page of text that you could sit and read. Like they have flyover drone footage of these historical locations. I thought it was really cool shit in there.
Yeah, they had the flyover footage. There were some scenarios where he took photos himself. There were others where I believe he commissioned photos from others. Like there was an area where they brought up information on the wolves because in every level you get one wolf summon and you call on the wolf pack that do massive damage to these squads. There is a photo of the wolf breed that those wolves are based on, and that thing looked way too up close and personal for a game designer to be like, oh, look, wolves. So it was nice that in the corner it was like, actually, this photo is accredited to this guy. I didn't take this crap. Like, no shit, you didn't take this crap. So, but it was pretty nice to see that he put this level of crazy effort and detail into this game. And it's interesting, too, because I'm generally not huge on like when games get hyper violent, but I feel like this game, one, wasn't over the top of the violence because it was cartoonish, but also violent. So we're not talking, say, Scott Pilgrim, where everybody's like a cuddly kill. It's more like, oh, this guy got his arm ripped off, and then I threw it at this other guy who took it and blood splattered on his face. But it's still done in a way where it's like you're not like feeling ill or nauseous at the screen. It's just you're committing acts of violence. This isn't masking anything, which is and so it can be a good thing because more violent games need to actually show you that you are being violent. You're enjoying
consequences
yourself.
Of your actions.
Exactly. It's not, you can't like distance just like, oh, when I punch a guy, stars show up over. It's like, no, when you punch that guy, he's fucking bleeding. You did that to him. And that is a good thing. It's like, I like that when games can give you that sense of realism. Like, I don't want Mother Russia Bleeds where everything is just grisly.
Oh, yeah.
But this game, I think, did an okay job with handling that.
Nice. So $15 on this one. What do you think?
If you're down with the beat 'em up scene, I think it's a valid purchase.
Sounds good. Like I said, I covered it on Switch, and I am frothing to play this again on Xbox. I think it's out as of the time we're recording this, so I need to make sure to jump on and pick that up. I love this game on the Switch, so I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it as well.
Oh yeah, man, it's a solid buy.
All right, next game to talk about is called Super One More Jump, developed and published by SMG Studio, released January 25th on the Switch for $7. Super One More Jump is a handcrafted, frantic, one-touch arcade platformer. Simple to learn, one-button controls, hard to master levels, test your muscle memory, concentration, and sanity. SMG Studio, you guys might know as the people who made Death Squared. Have you played that one?
Death Squared is awesome.
It's a perfect game to make you hate your friends, right?
It is. And then they have that weird computer human conversation going over in the background just to agitate you that much further.
And now Super One More Jump is their game to make you hate yourself.
Holy, really?
Basically, it is... I hate always comparing it to other games, but this is very much in the vein of Super Meat Boy, where it is fast-paced, twitchy platforming to get from the start of a level to the end. The big difference between this and Meat Boy is this, you only control jumping. The character moves automatically. You hit the button to start, and then you hit the button to jump. When you jump, obviously you could jump over obstacles, you could jump over pits, everything else, but you are bound to just certain areas of the track. I want to say it's kind of like a metallic area and that you're magnetized to it, but there's like nearly a dozen different skins of the game, which change absolutely everything visual in the game. So if you don't like the default look of the game, there's another 10 different looks that you can go with, where most companies would just say, hey, this is a different game. These guys are just like, no, it's just a different look of the same game. So we'll just go with kind of like the default where everything feels like you're a robot, that you're attracted to the metallic sections on the floor. I'm just going to go with that so that you guys could play along. But if there is a track above you with that same metallic spot, if you jump, you'll just stick to the top area.
Oh, so it's not just running and jumping. It's also got some gravity play involved.
Yes, there's gravity play, not only like above you, but there's areas where you're going to have to jump off the edge. And it's kind of like a flat earth thing where if you were to walk to the edge of the earth, if it were a flat earth, you could walk to the side and just gravity keeps you on the side of it and you'll go underneath and gravity keeps you underneath it.
Oh, your orbit. Okay.
Yeah, each platform basically has its own center of gravity, so when you jump off the side of it, you'll wrap around underneath and land on the bottom of it. So it's not just frantic platforming, but it's gravity bending frantic platforming with a shitload of different skins and collectibles. Because of course there has to be collectibles. Each level has 3 different collectibles. Thankfully, you can collect them on different runs. If you pick up one of them and get to the exit the next time you play it, that one's collected.
Okay, so you do have to finish the level. You can't like grab it and like, okay, exit the stage.
Yes, you must hit the exit for the collectible to count. If you get all 3 of them and then die and you don't get to the exit, they're all back. And you will die a lot. Every stage in this game has its own individual death counter, just to rub in.
I was about to ask that too. I was like, don't tell me they have a death counter.
Every stage has its own death counter, just to rub in how bad you are. Like the one stage, because they'll throw in new mechanics of like a thing that'll stop you in place with moving platforms that you kind of have to time it right and jump over. And there's stages where I haven't even gotten across the first real puzzle area, like the first section, and I'm at like 30 deaths. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Dang. But it is addictive. It is very addictive to keep you going, keep you playing. I have the game here just so I can make sure. There are 8 level sets. Each level set has 12 stages. And then in addition to just having beat the stage on classic mode, there are 3 alternate play styles for every level. One is a night mode where all the lights are out and the only real illumination is your character, kind of like a little candle that just emanates light. And the rest of the stage is fairly dark. There is a mirror mode where everything is flipped in one direction or another, and then there's a rotation mode where the entire level just slowly rotates as you play, which can really, really fuck you up sometimes. A ton of stages in this game, ridiculously difficult, very addictive, tons of skins so you can change up the look, unlockable characters so you can change your character. There's so much to do in this game. And the fact that they're selling it for only $7, I think, is kind of absurd.
Yeah, I was to say, for that price, it sounds very robust.
And the best part is, it's not $6.99. It is $7. Exactly.
Oh, yes, you rounded it up.
Yes. That's something I like on Nintendo Store, is that you'll see prices like that. On PlayStation, on Xbox, it's like something $99, $6.99, $7.99, $8.99. On Nintendo, you could see shit for $5. Oh, is it $4.99? No, it's $5. Exactly, $5.
Too, like, what was that game? Floor Kids, where the price was $19.90.
Yeah, there's weird shit out there, man. I think the one I saw released at like $6.54, something like that.
It's just an odd number. The guy sat there with an abacus and was like, "This is the exact number we have to sell each game for to profit."
I don't know, it's ridiculous. But Super One More Jump at $7 with how much shit is in there, how much it'll keep you playing, enough content in there. I say it's absolutely worth picking up if you are into difficult platformers. If you are not into difficult platformers, look at something else. Value your sanity, because this game will test you. But props to SMG Studio for releasing a second game to make you hate someone, whether it's a friend, yourself, or even the developers at SMG Studio.
That's one thing worth inquiring about, just out of curiosity. Does this game have anything like how Death Square had those random conversations just to kind of spice up the dialogue? Or
no, not really. I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that there's so many different skins and looks to the game that you can't really put too much personality in a metallic cube when you could switch the look and now he's a knight. Or you could get a different main character and now he's some robot wearing a hat. So having any kind of narrative in there would be really tough. This is gameplay. Leave the story behind and just open yourself up to death.
You can play if you want to. You can hop around a lot.
But speaking of dying, last game that you're here to talk about is called Brawl, developed by Bloober Team, published by Cubic Games. It released January 12th on the Switch for $9.99. Step into the darkness of the Emporium with 8 unique characters, each with a rich backstory and a surprising plot twist. Fight your way to the end using different play styles, from pure brutality as a wrestler to hiding in shadows and as an elusive thief. Are you ready to face your darkest fears with a bomb in your hand? Pernell, what is Brawl?
Brawl is a game that, I'm not going to lie, I'll say it flat out, I expected to not like it. I really did not expect to enjoy the game because it's got a theming to it that isn't in my typical wheelhouse, so to speak. But as a reviewer, you have to kind of sometimes say, block that out and focus on the game. What is the game? And this game is Bomberman, but done in a way that allows it to stand on its own and not be judged for it as a Bomberman clone. That's so good. The game has around 8 characters in it. Each character gets its own unique ability. So in addition to typical Bomberman items like the detonation and flame range and bomb count, kick, the usual stuff, the characters get their own abilities. And while some of them are fairly similar to a typical Bomberman, like I think there's one guy that gets remote bomb detonation as his ability. Other guys get some pretty cool stuff. Like my favorite was the girl with the teddy bear. And the way her special ability is she has a knife that when she throws it at the guy, if she sticks them, it slows them down for a certain amount of time. After that, the knife falls onto the floor. If you decide to use the second component of her special ability before the knife falls, you switch places with the guy you stabbed. And if the knife falls on the floor, you switch places with where the knife actually is on the ground. So that leads itself to a number of interesting stratagems that traditional Bomberman doesn't have. There's another character that can slow people down by staring at them. So it's almost like she could drop a bomb in a location where she knows the flame is going to cross over, walk across the guy when they're about to cross that spot and stare at them to slow them down so they can't get away before the bomb blows up. Like, there are just a number of strategies you can apply. again, that just don't exist in Bomberman. In addition to that, the story mode is unique too. A traditional Bomberman game, you'd have like, here's a bunch of planets. Get to the end of the planets and beat the boss and then that. In this game, there are 8 mini stories. 1 mini story per character. It's usually about 6 to 7 levels or so. But the levels are all crafted for those specific characters. Like I'm not going to lie, I wasn't too big on the narrative and didn't pay a lot of attention to it. But the fact that they still crafted one for each character was still kind of cool in and of itself. But the main thing that I thought was awesome is that it's essentially puzzle levels devoted to the characters so you make the most out of what they can do. So it added some layers and made in a way to make you want to play as every character, even if you might not necessarily say care about what that character is. Like, oh, I'm not big on a clown doll. I don't like that theme of a character. But you want to play his puzzle stages because you want to see what new levels can I play through. You know, it's not just new guy in same stage. And then there's also the multiplayer environment. Multiplayer in this game is unfortunately only local. But if you can get that grouping together, you get basically the equivalent of Bomberman with abilities. So all those characters' abilities get thrown into the arena with your normal abilities. You can go for a free-for-all bomb fest for the last man standing. There's also a few additional modes, too. One that I thought was pretty cool that I don't think I've seen in any other game like this is called Sumo. And the way Sumo works is instead of trying to kill each other by blowing each other up, you're actually trying to push each other off of the map. And all of the abilities are tied to this mode. So you get abilities that you don't get in other ways, like you get a sumo charge ability, and you get basically a pair of pants that allows you to acquire more stability so that you're harder to knock off the map.
That's really cool. Yeah, well, it changes everything up and keeps it fresh.
Yeah, there are legitimate different modes of gameplay. Like, it's not just, okay, here's a bunch of maps with the same style, though that does exist. Every area has a number of maps to it. But they have the sumo mode. They have the color mode, which is kind of like that flip tile game for the Switch, but it's where you basically drop bombs. When you blow the bombs up, rather than you're basically changing the color of the floor. And the game runs on a clock, and when the time runs up, whichever person's painted the floor with the most paint of their color wins the match. So you might have some kamikaze players running on just drop bombs like crazy, trying to do things. Some people might be being more strategic to knocking the guys off that gives them a temporary reprieve to keep blowing things up while they wait for them to come back in. But it's just, I think there's a number of cool modes here. And there's also even team modes where if you want to team up with a friend against another team with a friend, you can do that too.
Nice. And I will say, I think the Switch is the one platform where local-only multiplayer isn't as big of an issue because it comes with 2 controllers.
This is true. Also, at least in my experience, the ability to cart this thing around changed the game a lot. Like, yeah, I admit you don't always have a bunch of people that are just there like, hey, I'm bringing my Switch over. But I've had times where I was at the store, like hanging out, waiting in line for something, and someone's there was like, hey, you want to play Switch together while we're waiting? Sure, we're all playing the goddamn Switch. Like, the Switch makes me less concerned about online play. Like, I'm genuinely content with it being a local-based console.
I have this in my head of you, like, at the grocery store waiting in line, and some dude behind you is like, hey, man, I see you're playing Mario Kart. You want to throw down?
I wish I could do that at the grocery store. The time wouldn't be there for that, but let's say you're like at a GameStop waiting to get a pre-release, or you're at, you're at a restaurant and you're waiting 20 minutes for your food to come, or you're waiting at a restaurant to even get a table. There's random situations like that where you will be sitting at a place you didn't expect to be sitting at, and you're waiting and killing time. And it's like, well, I killed time and I can have fun with the time. Boom, switch it up.
Very true.
I can't believe I just used their damn slogan. Switch it up. Which was Mighty Switch Force did it first anyway, so take that, Nintendo.
Oh, man. So anyway, before we go on talking about playing this in all the different places that we can, what do you think of this one for $10?
I think it's a good time. If you like Bomberman, this is basically Bomberman done differently, so you can kind of experience it from a different perspective with a different skill set in mind.
Sounds good, man. Good stuff to hear, and always good having you on. And thanks for being part of SML 5th anniversary. It's good to have you on here.
Not a problem, man. Thank you for having me on SML to be a part of the SML 50th anniversary.
50th? Holy shit.
That's right. I just said 50th.
Well, thank you so much, and you have yourself a wonderful night.
Anytime, Sonny. I'm going to eat my hair prunes and cantaloupe. See what's on the teleboobs. Teleboobs. I wish.
Next game to talk about is called Nightmares from the Deep 3, Davy Jones, developed and published by Artifacts Monday. This one's out February 2nd on Xbox One and PS4 for $9.99, so it should be out by the time you hear this. Davy Jones and his undead crew appear once again to kidnap the museum custodian, Sarah Black, and force her daughter, Corey, to sign a dark pact. In order to save Corey, Sarah will travel through mysterious locations, solve plenty of puzzles, and learn the truth about the ghost of a beautiful young girl who roams Davy Jones's island. Coming back, Cole Martin, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
It's been what, like an hour since you've been here?
Yes.
Something like that.
It's a long time. Everybody missed me. It's horrible.
What have you been doing for the past hour?
Staring at the computer, probably. Same thing I do all my other hours.
Oh, God. So Nightmares from the Deep 3, the conclusion of the Nightmares from the Deep trilogy. Tell me about this one.
This game is wonderful. I know I say that I like all the Artifacts Monday games, but when you think of a really good quality one that they have done, Nightmares from the Deep is easily one of the top, and the whole trilogy is just exceptional. If you've played the others, any at all, and you should have because they're wonderful. If you played the others, you're already familiar that the protagonist is Sarah, and her daughter Corey. They run a museum together, and over the past couple of games, they've tried to tell the world about Davy Jones and that he's real and all of this and how that affects their world. And mysterious events keep occurring that sabotages the museum throughout these events and sends them off on these fantastical adventures. Again, we start with, Sarah at the beginning of the game and her daughter, and they're hosting kind of like a TED Talk, if you will. At the museum, and she's about to show the world her proof that Davy Jones is still a thing and is real when Davy Jones kidnaps her.
What?
He gets offended he doesn't get invited to this party in his own honor. He crashes through the museum and whisks them away to this, this haunted island where, Sarah has to use her wit and everything to solve puzzles to try and get her and Corey off of it. But there's an added twist in that, despite being the ones that whisk them away, Davy Jones makes a deal with Corey that if she signs her life away to this pact, he won't kill her mother. So it is now up to Sarah and the player to find a way to either abolish that pact or fulfill the terms of it. And you do that by, obviously, it's being an adventure point and click, looking for key items and solving puzzles throughout the island to try to save your daughter. And also tell the world that Davy Jones is really a real motherfucker. In all of that, you will find out the truth about Davy Jones and his backstory. In the previous versions of Nightmares from the Deep, there were doubloons that you gave to these little mythical creatures that would give you information and backstory. So in lieu of those creatures this time, we find the doubloons and you give them to 12 statues. And those statues will cut in cutscenes that gives you more information and progresses the story. Kind of cuts it in along with the actual gameplay. This is one of the more fleshed out Artifacts Monday titles. Some of them, I know I've said in the past, are a little lighter on content. This time you have the option of completing the hidden object puzzles, or you can do the Mahjong game. Nice. So we haven't seen a Mahjong game as an alternative in an Artifacts Monday for a while. And everybody's like, yes, Mahjong!
They're back!
Yay!
Does that mean it has achievements for doing all hidden objects and all Mahjong? again?
It does have all hidden objects, but it only has one for 3 mahjong. So you don't have to do a complete second playthrough.
That's good.
Just play through 3 of the hops as a mahjong game instead. So you don't really have to go whole hog. There's also not an achievement for the bonus chapter, although there is a bonus chapter this time. Usually there is an achievement tied to it as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it's always recommended to play those bonus chapters because they're really cool little tie-ins to the story that give you extra details. And they're worth your time to play through extra even without an achievement.
I'm guessing gameplay-wise, it's pretty much, more of what we would expect from Artifacts.
Yeah, you're not going to be shocked by anything. It's, find an object, put stuff together. There's none of the alchemy or anything, although
it's now a rhythm dating game.
Yeah. They've changed their minds on us all of a sudden. But it's exactly what you would expect. I think one of the most impressive things, though, is that even though it is just more of what you would expect, I never get bored with these. The puzzles are always different somehow. There's always just enough twists that I don't feel like I've done the same game 17 times.
No.
And I think I might be at 17 Artifacts Monthly games. And I'm still just like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I don't feel overwhelmed. I think maybe if you sat and played them all like in order consistently, you'd just be like, okay, yeah, I need to cut something else in between. But we play enough variety that I don't feel like I've played the same thing over and over. There's enough of a shakeup with the puzzles to keep you intrigued. This one is collectible heavy though. And so you may end up with a second playthrough anyway if you're just really bad at collectibles, because it's actually got 3 different types of collectibles.
Ooh.
Which is different. That's not there. Sometimes you'll have 1 or 2, but definitely 3 is definitely a shock in the barrel there. So otherwise, buy the game, play it, have fun.
Sounds good. So I was counting. There's actually, I believe Nightmares from the Deep 3 makes 14 Artifacts games available on Xbox right now.
I pulled a number out of a hat, but damn, I'm good.
There's actually, it's showing Enigmatis 3 on the site as existing, so that might be coming in the future. That might be the next one.
Enigmatis is another one. It's a really good series that they've done a good job with.
I mean, they're all good series, really.
They're all good.
Have we had a bad Artifacts game?
No. I do feel like Nightmares and Enigmatis, though, are a little more on the premium side. More so because their stories are cohesive between the trilogies.
Mm.
I'm making an assumption on Enigmatis 3, but like there's a repeat of characters and themes, whereas some of the other ones, like Grim Legends, for example, you have one set of stories for the first game, and then the second game is a completely different set of stories without any reoccurring. There may be like one reoccurring character, like the main character may be reoccurring, but everything else is new. Whereas with Enigmatis and Nightmares from the Deep, we've seen like reoccurring characters and themes, and it all comes back full circle to like a satisfying conclusion for all the stories, as opposed to just being little anthologies.
No. Well, it's good to hear that the trilogy ends really well. We have one final game to talk about, and I'm going to make you hang around for this one. It is called Tennis, just Tennis, developed by Xstream Digital, published by D3 Publisher, released January 25th on the Switch for $7.99. Tennis game that can be picked up and played by anyone. Enjoy the game by yourself or play against friends and family. With 8 characters and 6 courts available, feel the excitement that tennis brings. A simple yet exhilarating tennis game to play anytime. That pretty much covers it, really. This is
our work here's done.
It is a very simple, casual tennis game. It is as straightforward and simple as it comes. Modes, they have a quick play, which just randomly chooses characters in a court for you. So if you just want to play right away, get into a game without fucking around with options, just pick that. They have a custom game, which basically just lets you choose your character, the opponent's character, and then which of the 6 courts you play on, which range from like a grass court. They have a carpet court. They have like a floral garden style court, a clay court. The 8 characters, just, you know, a variety of different colorful, childlike characters that have their unique stats. There's like 4 different stats that each character is graded on, between like power and speed, stuff like that. Gameplay is just hit the button.
It's just tennis.
This is such a casual style tennis game that you don't even control your character running around on the court. Like when they say this is a tennis game that can be picked up and played by anyone, they mean pretty much any. If you can hit the A button on a Switch controller, you can play this game. The only real twists in the gameplay mechanics come down to if you tilt the analog stick either left or right to aim in that direction when you hit the ball, or if you hold back, it does a lob shot. But otherwise, it's just as straightforward and simple as it gets. There's no story campaign to it. They have a tournament mode, which is basically just 3 opponents back to back to back, and when you beat it, you just get a congratulations screen. There are 100 achievements in the game that you can unlock between...
Wait.
Yeah, 100.
How are there 100 achievements?
There's 100 achievements. There's like beating the tournament with each of the characters on each of the 3 difficulties. They have beating a custom match opponent with each of the different characters you have to beat. There's things for like playing for X many hours. What I enjoy is that they have bonuses in the game based on how many achievements you unlock. So, it's kind of a bummer that like all the really cool stuff is like, if you get 90 achievements, 90 of the 100 achievements, you unlock like big head mode, stuff like that. So it's like every 10 achievements you earn through the game, there's just a different interesting bonus that you can unlock and just change up the game a little bit. Overall, though, it is as straightforward a casual tennis game as it gets. It's a cheap game, so $8. It's not like it's a big price tag, but there's not a ton of content there. But, you know, to be fair, it's not a $50 game. Like, I'm sure Mario Tennis is going to be coming out for the Switch. This is not trying to be Mario Tennis. This is something that you and your kid could play together on like a road trip. Stuff like that. This is just like quick, casual, get in, get out tennis. This is not something that you're going to spend months on. For $8, I'd give it just a standard down the middle. Try it. If you're looking for a casual tennis game, it is what it is. It is tennis. The title is tennis. This game, tennis.
It's tennis.
That's as complex as that one gets. So it's cute, it's enjoyable, but it's nothing world changing.
Cool.
But that is it for this episode, our 350th episode, 5th anniversary. I'm glad it lined up that way, and I kind of forced it to line up that way. But
nice number just right there.
Indeed. But that is it for this one. I don't know, I guess I'll take the final words. Thanks to everyone for sticking with us for 5 years, and here's to like, I don't know, another week or 2, I guess.
Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck did I drink Everclear? Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck am I even still here?
Can't believe it's already 3:30 p.m. Drunk all night with my friends again. Party all night with some bitches again. Blacked out early on till God knows when. Oh shit, I can't believe it. My car's on fire and my ears are bleeding. Try to gain composure but my mind is reeling. I think my dick is lost all feeling. What the fuck happened? I cannot remember. Haven't been sober since last December. I've been lit up like a fiery ember, and then I crashed harder than that one September. I think I am a little bit fucked. I think I used up all my luck. It feels like I've been hit by a truck, and now it's time to nap.
Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck did I drink Everclear? Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. How the fuck did we murder a steer?
Yeah, trying not to pass out is the last thing I recall. Sipping on that last out, holding up a wall. How did I let them talk me into this? I think I'm seeing blood every time I take a piss. We crashed a couple parties, talked up a lot of bitches. Took her to the corner, and now my wiener itches. They found me on the floor of apartment 83 with the lady of the night, only she was hung like me. So now I am in jail, friends are nowhere to be found. And I think my cellmate Bubba's gonna fuck me in the brown. Oh, fuck.
Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck did I drink Everclear? Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck is the stick in my ear?
Shit, Jocam's been making too many charges. Buying alcoholic beverages. Mini Q has lots of crazy partying times. Enough for me to write some poopy doobity rhymes. You see, Dale is too hot, and Mustard is not. Cause his terroristic beard is gonna get us all shot. All I've been trying to do lately is get some fucking sleep. But these days stop liking bitches making too many peeps. Please sit on my dick, please sit on my dick. Watch out not too much or you're gonna make it sick. Oh god, too late, I just came on your face. But it's not so bad, you got practice with your dad. Revenge is a dish served best on glass. I guess you'll have to take it out on my ass. So for now I'll just let you use your mind. Cause I think I just fucking ran out of time.
Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. Why the fuck did I drink Everclear? Last night, can't believe what I did. Something so bad, it's gotta be hid. 10 shots of Jaeger, a full case of beer. The end of the song is here.
God damn it!
You know, I could actually save it and start encoding because you've only got like 10 minutes of recording time left. Huh? I can fix this. It's not a big deal.
How can you fix it?
The bridge in. We can make it bigger,
Nice.
stronger. We can make it stronger, better,
Faster.
faster.
More erotic.
Mufasa. Say it again. Mufasa. Mufasa. Move slower. You go too fucking fast. He's a good boy.
Name's Joe Cam.
Job with Vaseline, it's guaranteed to pipe your clean.
You need to die.
When your pipes are right. Long day, rent away, and I saw him eating at the buffet. He told me, come to my party, but I ran, 'cause he was
scary. Joe Kim! You like spam?
Apparently, they put a story mode in genital jousting.
Yeah, they did.